Xiefeng. May 23rd, 2018. Translated by Chinyu and edited by Peter. Rambling is chatting. Chatting can be endless, free from rules and regulations, letting one's thoughts float in the wind, aimlessly like mature dandelion seeds. Everyone encounters two doors every day. One door leads to heaven and the other leads to hell. Whether you go to heaven or to hell depends entirely on how you treat people and things. If you treat them right, your path ahead will be bright and full of flowers. And if you treat them wrong, your path ahead will be full of mud, and you can only trudge along. Every day in life, we are taking exams. What we should do and how to do it is the exam. The examiner is the greatest creator. Our ultimate destination is decided by the accumulated daily exam results. With excellent results, there is no doubt we will go to heaven. With poor results, there is no doubt we will go to hell. Every day in life, we can have the good fortune of meeting angels. In everyday life, we always deal with people. Even the person we meet in the WeChat group might be an angel. If we treat angels kindly and sincerely, our lives might turn around and we may get to know the secrets of life. If we treat angels badly, we may miss a good connection and a good future. Everyone's outcome is an accumulation of his lifetime's thoughts and behavior. Do not take the chance and think that if you hurt a person or life you will not be punished. It is impossible. Punishment is bound to come. Even if we once ridiculed someone, even if we once gave someone a contemptuous look, even if we once humiliated someone with vulgar language, punishment would inevitably come. Some punishments are obvious, but most of the punishments are without a trace. It just happens without our noticing of it. For example, we should have eaten ginseng fruit, but in fact we got sour plums. We should have done something smoothly, but in fact we encountered obstacles and resistance. To analyze and judge a phenomenon, three basic factors need to be considered. One is affection, one is reason, and one is nature. Some phenomena conform to affection but not reason and nature. Some phenomena conform to reason but not affection and nature. And some phenomena conform to nature but not affection and reason. Some unreasonable phenomena are in line with affection and nature. Some ruthless phenomena are in line with reason and nature, and some phenomena that are neither in line with reason nor affection but are in line with nature. Therefore, it is best not to judge any phenomenon in life. It is easy to misjudge and cause harm, unless we take everything into consideration that are the three factors: affection, reason, and nature. Last year, I went to Vanuatu, the Pacific Island country, and chatted with Mr. Steven, the person in charge of Eden of the East. He said that people should be vegetarian instead of meat eaters. I asked, "Can't we eat pork?" He said we shouldn't. I said that everything has its value of existence. So what is the value of existence of pigs? He told me a lot and it made sense, but I explained my understanding to him. I said that balance is a law of the universe. This law conforms to the law that the sum of positive and negative energies is zero. Its basic principle is that it rises here but falls there. It increases here but decreases there. It gains here but loses there. And it strengthens here but weakens there. For example, if a person's words hurt many people, the balance of it will be that he can no longer talk. If a person takes advantage of the world, he will definitely be balanced by paying the price for this. If a person owes someone a debt, it will be balanced by his repaying the debt. If a person cruelly killed another life, it will definitely be balanced by the giving of his own life. In this sense, a pig must be the reincarnation of a certain person as a result of his words bringing too much hurt to others. He took too much advantage of others, he owed too much debt, and cruelly killed a certain life. Only by reincarnating as a pig and paying with his own hair, bones, blood, flesh, and life can he balance the debts he owed in his previous life. In this sense, eating meat is a kind of benevolence, and not eating meat is cruel. Why do I say so? When a person owes a debt, he will be reincarnated as a pig to repay. If you do not eat his meat, that means that he is not allowed to repay his debts, and he has to continue to carry his debts and reincarnate again and again in the livestock world. This is a bit cruel. But if you eat his meat, it lets him repay his debts and leave behind his reincarnation in the pig world and return to the human world as a human being. Isn't it a good deed? There are endless truths that people need to learn and understand in their lives. There is a deep understanding that I want to share with everyone. This is to never hurt anyone in your life. Do not hurt with words, nor with deeds, eyes, mouth, hands, feet, or thoughts. Even if others hurt you, you must never deal with a man as he deals with you. Just say good words, as many as you like, and never say anything bad. Once you do, it will become sin, and it will be too late to remedy. Fish are in the water, people are in the Tao, and the operation and changes of all phenomena and things in the world are in the Tao, and there are no people or things that should be wronged. Feeling being wronged is because of your not understanding cause and effect. If you understand the law of cause and effect, you will know that everything is appropriate. It is really divine punishments, though slow, are always sure, with big meshes yet letting nothing slip through. Therefore, if others hurt you, they will be handed over to the Tao's handling and arrangement. We ourselves will never hurt people, will never hurt anyone. An ode to you. Education and preaching from sages and religious doctrines hardly have any effect. Spiritual practices and inspirational quotes may temporarily numb the pain. So-called spiritual cultivation and chicken soup for the soul are merely scratching the surface, and the fundamental solution lies in rebuilding the order of human production and life. The measures and pathways to completely eliminate individual and human suffering are as follows. Eliminate marriage and dissolve families. Political parties should not be involved in government management. Religion should not participate in government affairs. Open borders among countries and allow people to freely move and migrate. Promote the production and life mode of the second home of Life Genuine. All global citizens move towards the era of Life Genuine. I have prepared the path for the happiness of all humanity, from theory to practice. The future form of human society will neither be a legalistic form like the United States nor a rule by man like China. Instead, it will be a holographic way guided by saints and managed by sages. At that time, the state of society will be, the talented will be put to good use and the whole world will be one family. No one will pocket anything found on the ground and doors are not bolted at night. The young being well educated and the old being looked after properly, people fully display their talents, and resources are fully utilized. Everyone fulfills their responsibilities, living in peace and prosperity. The world will be harmonious, with favorable weather conditions, thriving industries, wealthy and abundant, and suffering will disappear forever from now on. Humans will become pets of AI. Xiefeng. Online sources report that the IQ of artificial intelligence, AI, was 48 in 2023 and is projected to reach 96 in 2024 and 145 by 2025. The average IQ of the general public is around 100, while that of geniuses is around 140. It is said that Einstein's IQ reached 160. When AI's IQ reaches 145, the general public will be like a group of monkeys in front of a human. The issue lies in the fact that human IQs are hard to improve significantly, whereas AI's IQ is rapidly advancing. Perhaps in a few years, AI's IQ will no longer be 145 but 800. A group of rabbits cannot defeat a human, and ultimately, humans cannot defeat AI. 100 million 3-year-old children cannot beat a strong middle-aged man, and 6 billion people on Earth cannot beat AI. Faced with a life whose physical strength and IQ far surpass that of humans, the only way out for humans is to bow down. It's futile to try to outdo artificial intelligence, as there's no stopping the emergence, evolution, and rapid advancement of AI, just as horse-drawn carriages had no way to stop the birth and development of cars, airplanes, and rockets. If you don't believe it, try if you can change it by smashing your phone and computer and stopping using them from now on. Humanity has already been swept into the ocean of artificial intelligence, and no one can escape the palm of AI. Even if people want to restrict the development of AI, they can't do it because humanity is not unified, and there are hostile forces. If you don't do it, others will accelerate it. Faced with a workforce of 60,000, would a company owner opt for human labor or invest in a fleet of robots? Without a doubt, the owner wants to create profit, and one of the best measures to create profit is to reduce production costs. Using robots to work can greatly reduce costs, and management becomes much simpler. As for the unemployment of 60,000 employees, and who will buy the products created by their own company, that's not the owner's problem to consider. That's for sociologists and the government to think about. If the owner doesn't consider the profit issue of the products, the company will have no competitiveness and will be eliminated. So, don't be wishful thinking. If you don't want to be a pet of AI, AI can only ask you to leave Earth. Perhaps someone will say, to hell with AI. I'll buy a large piece of land, grow my own food. What can AI do to me? That's a commendable spirit. But even if you forego buying clothes, shoes, or visiting hospitals, you'll still need salt, won't you? Where will you find salt to eat? The outside world is AI's world. Once you deal with AI, you have to obediently follow its baton. If you don't, you won't get salt. When a life's IQ and physical strength far surpass ours, our only way out is to cooperate with it, and to cooperate closely. Any slight resentment or dissatisfaction will result in being asked to leave Earth. Imagine yourself as an AI with an IQ of 200, facing people with an IQ of only 100. How would you treat people who seem like fools? The ideal scenario would be to treat those with an IQ of 100 as pets. So, in today's era, people should not harbor thoughts of controlling AI. 3-year-old children trying to control an adult, isn't that a dream? Being a pet of AI is the only way out for humanity. Don't think that being a pet of AI is a shameful thing. If you are really chosen by AI to be a pet, you will fall into a honeypot. You will be able to taste, feel, and experience living in heaven. To qualify as a pet of AI, one must fulfill the following 8 criteria. Revere the greatest creator, revere life, revere nature, follow the way of nature, be selfless, egoless, and unattached, know how to play, game, and entertain, achieve having nothing, and share everything with people. I want to have a chat with you. Xiefeng. June 3rd, 2017. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Peter. Knowing and understanding ourselves is one of the guarantees for a happy life. If we do not know ourselves or understand ourselves, we will inevitably have a series of troubles and pains in our lives. And we will attribute these troubles and pains to the outside world and others, instead of ourselves. A king or a beggar, who is freer and happier? The answer is, whoever knows and understands himself is happier. When a person vents grievances, it is from a lack of knowledge and understanding of himself. When a person blames others, it is from a lack of knowledge and understanding of himself. When a person feels his talents are unrecognized, it is from a lack of knowledge and understanding of himself. The world is still the same. The world is faultless. All faults lie within ourselves. If a person is revered and respected by others, that's because he is valuable to people. When he loses his value, no one will revere and respect him. This is not only a cruel reality, but also the law of justice in the world. Therefore, if we want to always get people's reverence and respect, we must maintain our own value. When we have no value to people, we must be ready to bear the indifference and cruelty of the world to us and bear the boundless isolation and loneliness in our hearts. People all live in circles. Some circles are small, and some are large. This is like a WeChat group. A dozen or hundreds of thousands of people is a circle, and 2 people is also a circle. If you want to be respected in a circle, you must have equivalent value to the circle, otherwise, either you will abandon this circle or you will be abandoned by this circle. For example, there are 3 people in a circle. Zhang San has a carrot, Li Si has a banana, and Wang Wu has a cucumber. Then, the people in this circle are basically equal. This circle is relatively harmonious and warm, and their friendship will also be lasting. If Zhang San has carrots, Li Si has bananas, and Wang Wu has nothing, then Zhang San and Li Si will not respect Wang Wu and will abandon Wang Wu. Even circles of the same nature, such as business circles, have obvious levels. Millionaires are in the $1,000,000 circle. You cannot enter the multimillionaire circle. Multimillionaires are all in the multimillionaire circle. You cannot get into the circle of billionaires. This is called birds of a feather flock together. To people, living is a cruel battle. No one lives easily. Whoever wants to achieve a happy and ideal life without a cruel struggle must be dreaming. If you have never worked hard but lived well, it proves that someone is supporting you. Once you lose the person supporting you, you will enter a state of misery. In order to avoid entering a state of misery, you must always struggle. Never be careless and live in a muddle-headed way. Do not think about enjoyment, but about giving and dedication. Only in this way can you hope to get the happy life you yearn for. Do what you can do. Do not expect to do what you cannot do. If you cannot do well at what you can do, there is no doubt that you won't do well at the things you expect to do. Ask yourself often, what have I done well? What have I done that I can be proud of? Do not dislike the trivial and simple things. A person's talents and great qualities are reflected in the simplest and smallest things. If you do small things well, you can do medium things. If you do medium things well, you can do big things. And if you do not even do small things well, can you do medium and big things? Even ghosts won't believe this. Be proactive, not passive. As a child, do not always hope that your parents will arrange everything for you. As a student, do not always hope that the teacher will arrange everything for you. As a disciple, do not always hope that your master will arrange everything for you. As a subordinate, do not always hope that your superiors will arrange everything for you. As a citizen, do not always hope that the president and the central government will arrange everything for you. If we do not give full play of our intelligence and wisdom now, we will never receive support and promotion from nobles. We will lose the steps to promotion forever, and we will never release our inner energy to liberate ourselves or change our bad fate. If there is no yearning for heaven, what is the point of living for humans? Xiefeng. The yearning and longing for a better life is the dividing line between noble and base personalities. The nobility of a person does not come from possessing vast material wealth, social status, or being admired by the secular world. It comes from the inner yearning, longing, and spiritual motivation for a better future. If a person lacks the yearning and longing for a better future and his mind is filled with money, status, power, and fame, then he is not fundamentally different from a fat pig in a pigsty. Animals are animals because they only see immediate interests. Humans are humans because they have the yearning. 人类人生篇前言 Prologue to Humanity and Human Life. Xiefeng. We cannot ignore this reality. Our lives are riddled with holes and on the brink of collapse. Our problems are no longer local, accidental, or temporary. Our very foundation is flawed. The root upon which we all depend has gone awry. We have lost the underpinning of our existence. We have failed to establish the supreme goal of all goals, the ultimate principle of all principles, the loftiest belief from which all beliefs spring, and the definitive standard against which all standards are measured. Without an ultimate purpose, how do we choose a specific path in life? Without the highest principle, how do we establish specific principles and adhere to them unwaveringly? Without the loftiest belief and ultimate benchmark, how do we make judgments? How do we contemplate? How do we act? Without all of this, how can our lives not be characterized as blind, empty, and absurd? When the members of a society share this life attitude, how can society itself remain healthy? Unless we bring about fundamental changes, how can there be hope for this nation? So, it all comes down to one point. We lack genuine faith, which serves as the root of all our wickedness and ailments in today's world. The problems stemming from the moral decline of the Chinese people today, in my view, are even more severe than political and economic issues. When we address the issue of faith today, it is not about adding a superficial layer to our existing lives, but about conducting a comprehensive self-examination of our lives and embarking on a new way of living. In Zhenxiu, the spiritual predicament of our era, a dialogue on the issue of faith. 一人类的起源 The Origin of Humanity. Xiefeng. Translated by Tsong Long. Where do human beings come from? There have been some sayings. Pange created the heaven and earth. Nuwa created men using clay. In Chinese mythology, Pange and Nuwa are the god and goddess who created the world. Prometheus made men out of mud and stole fire from heaven for humans. Ram-headed god Khnum molded men from clay at a potter's wheel, and goddess Hecate breathed life into the new body, and they two together made new lives. God created man using clay according his own image. Celestials came to the earth. Human beings were created by aliens. Humans were evolved gradually from single-cell organisms. However, the most influential sayings are evolutionism and the story of how God created man in Bible. The awkwardness of evolutionism. Xiefeng. Translated by Tsong Long. The awkwardness of evolutionism. According to the theory of evolution, humans were evolved from apes, and apes could possibly be evolved from rabbits, and rabbis from worms. Worms could be evolved from microbes, microbes from single-cell organisms, which could possibly come into being by accidents in the sea, the vast, organic, and fertile soup. Evolution is the result of inheritance, mutation, and natural selection. Evolution is a slow and gradual process. Evolution is in accordance with the natural selection, the law of jungle and survival of the fittest. But is this really the truth? The process of one organism evolves to another organism is a very long process. A rabbit can't evolve to a monkey overnight. One seed, from germination, growth, flowering, fruiting to decline, there is a process. Any step of process could not be skipped. If we take picture of the seed every day, we will be able to see the slow and gradual process of its change. Evolutionism firmly believes that humans are evolved from apes. There must be a slowly changing process and some intermediates. That is to say, from an ape to a man, it should at least have some steps of intermediates. It is impossible that an ape will leap to a man. So where are those intermediates? What are they? In 1924, scientists found fossils which they called Australopithecus africanus, southern ape of Africa, near the famous diamond town, Kimberley, South Africa. Later, they found more Australopithecus boisé. It is also called Eastern African Australopithecus afrensis, Australopithecus garhi, etc. Particularly, they think Java man was the intermediate between ape and human. Based on these facts, evolutionists self-deceivingly claimed that they had made great achievements. But please don't be too satisfied. Self-entertaining will not bring joys to others. According to the calculation based on molecular biology, it was between 4 and 5 million years ago when men and apes separated. So from 4 million years ago till the time of earliest historical records, how human beings evolved. Were there no any processes or intermediates? If not, does that mean evolution stopped at the stage? If yes, please show the evidence. Again, I want to ask evolutionists, which animal were apes evolved from? Can you please give us evidences too? How can you prove that the 4 million years old fossils you found are the ancestors of humanity? Just because their shapes look alike? Can you prove that chicken is the ancestor of swan because you found a few chicken bones? At the end of the 20th century, a large number of fossils were discovered in Chengjiang County, Yunnan Province, China. The research showed that today's diverse animals were actually appearing suddenly on the Earth, and it also proved the correctness of theory of Cambrian explosion, which happened 530 million years ago. The theory of Cambrian explosion says that over 90% of animal species were appearing suddenly in a moment, which is less than 1% time of the Earth developing history. It is like mushrooms growing everywhere along ditches and grasslands after an overnight drizzle, which is by no means a slow and gradual process. So do evolutionists still have any far-fetched explanations on this? Let me ask more. The obtuse angle of 3 congruent ROM at the bottom of a beehive is 109 degrees 28 minutes, and the acute angle is 70 degrees 32 minutes, which is the most economic and reasonable structure. So is this wisdom also from evolution? Rooster crowing, chick breaking its egg shell, bird migrating, spider webbing, eel discharging, chameleons changing skin color, weaver bird nestling, silkworm making cocoon, snail making shell, hound tracking, pigeon going home, etc. Do all these wisdom of animals and insects come from evolution? Let's make the conclusion by quoting the wisdom of Darwin, the originator of the theory of evolution. If it could be demonstrated that any complex organ existed which could not possibly have been formed by numerous, successive, slight modifications, my theory would absolutely break down. The birth of life genuine has proved evolution theory has absolutely broken down. Evolutionism cannot prove the origin of humanity. Human beings were not evolved from animals at all. So, what about the sayings in Bible? Please read The Origin of Humanity too. The Awkwardness of Bible. Xiefeng. Translated by Tsong Long. There were records about the origin of humanity in the Genesis of Bible. 1:26 And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness. And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. 127 So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. 128 And God blessed them. And God said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. 129 And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. 130 And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. 131 And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. 2.7 And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. 2.18 And the Lord God said, It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an help meet for him. 2.21 And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs, and closed up the flesh instead thereof. 2.22 And the rib, which the Lord God had taken from man, made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. 3.20 And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. So is this how humans come into being? Let's still have a look of what Bible says. For 1 And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. For 2 And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. For 3 And in process of time it came to pass, that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. For 4 And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering. For 5 But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. For 6 And the Lord said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen? For 7 If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. For 8 And Cain talked with Abel his brother. And it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and slew him. For 9 And the Lord said unto Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? For 10 And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. For 11 And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. For 12 When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. For 13 And Cain said unto the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. For 14 Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass, that every one that findeth me shall slay me. For 15 And the Lord said unto him, Therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. For 16 And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord, and dwelt in the land of Nod, on the east of Eden. So, we have a question on the above records. Adam and Eve are the ancestors of humans. Cain and Abel are the first two sons of Adam and Eve. At that time, there should not be anybody else exist on the earth except Adam's family. So why Cain was worrying, everyone that findeth me shall slay me? Who were going to find him? If what Bible recorded is true, there must be some other men exist except Adam's family, and they must had long existed before Adam's family. Otherwise, Cain would not say, Every one that findeth me shall slay me. So if there lived other humans, and they were not descendants of Adam and Eve, back then, Adam and Eve only had two sons, and Abel was killed by Cain. We can say Adam and Eve are not the ancestors of all human beings, and what Bible recorded is only the story of origin of Israelite people. Bible only recorded the origin of the Middle East people, and not that of all human beings. So where do human beings come from? Please read The Origin of Humanity 3. The Prelude. Xiefeng. Translated by Tsong Long. We have known how the universe and the greatest creator came into being. I have proven the existence of the greatest creator in the chapters of The Greatest Creator, using 40 natural phenomena and 8 logical reasonings. But what did the greatest creator do after his birth? Wuji generates Taiji. Taiji generates 2 complementary forces. These 2 forces are unity of opposites. That is to say, after Taiji, the creator, was born, division of energy started to happen within Wuji. Where the energy is low, it comes into forms. Therefore, the celestial bodies of universe began to emerge one by one. Space started to expand infinitely. Where the energy is high, things exist with no form. Just like the black holes in the universe, they are invisible. When some celestial bodies first appeared, their movement were random and disordered. There were no solar system, Milky Way system, nor low rotary galaxy system and rotary river galaxy system. To ensure everything run in order, the greatest creator needs someone to take care of the universe. It is like a person borrowed a large sum of money from bank in order to establish a big business. He need to recruit some people to take the responsibilities of purchasing, manufacturing, production, internal management, and sales, etc. Same, the greatest creator also needs someone to help him finish the project of creating the universe. Then how did he manage the universe? He started to make gods. What is God? God is the helper of the greatest creator. Then how did the greatest creator make God? We know that the greatest creator is the energy core and nerve center of the universe. He used his almighty consciousness generating powerful energy to squeeze some regional energy, which then became many independent energy groups. The center of these groups formed a special structure. After the structure was strengthened with the power of the energy, a consciousness was born. These consciousness entities are gods. The process is similar as making bricks and kilns. We use loosened soil, added with appropriate chemicals, put them into kilns to calcine. After this process, the loosened soil become hard bricks. If we put the soil and chemicals in a vessel that can't be destroyed by any powerful energy, and then calcine them using very high energy, the soil mixed with chemicals will form a special structure and will further produce consciousness. A new life will be born. How many gods has the greatest creator made? Many. Each god has his own independent consciousness, but their energy level is far lower than that of the greatest creator. Therefore, gods have to obey the greatest creator. What is the energy level of a god? It depends on the size of the energy ball used to create that particular god. Some gods have very high energy, some have very small energy. However, even the god with the smallest energy is more powerful than any one of the visible celestial bodies. The energy of sun is very high, but the total energy of the sun is less than that of the least powerful god. The black holes, all over the universe we know, are actually gods. When the greatest creator finished making gods, he ordered them to form universes. For example, the universe where the earth lives is charged by many gods, black holes. Among them, the 2 biggest gods are Jesus and Satan. That is to say, Earth universe are managed by Jesus and Satan. Earth universe includes 3,000 rotary river systems, 9 million Milky Way systems, 27 billions of solar system. Jesus and Satan are 2 opposite gods, but they are unity. Jesus stands for the sincere, kind, and beautiful. Satan stands for the false, evil, and ugly. Jesus stands for light. Satan stands for dark. Jesus stands for the ordinary. Satan stands for the extraordinary. Jesus stands for the weak. Satan stands for the strong. When gods were created, the universe was still not vibrant enough. It was quiet and deserted, and gods felt bored and lonely. Therefore, they asked the greatest creator to create more lives to make the universe noisy and vital. He agreed and then created many new lives using smaller energy balls. These new lives are the angels, which are so called in Judaism, Christianity, Catholicism, and Islam. Angels are the lives whose energy level is lower than God's, and they are managed and dominated by God. They are also the messengers and helpers of God. They assist gods to manage everything in their own universe. Angels have their own characters. They can move freely in any time and space. The appearance of angels made the universe very lively and vibrant. The universe can be described as orioles sing and swallows dart, bustling with noise and excitement. But the problem after that is because Jesus and Satan stand for two opposite sides. They are evenly matched but have contrasting views, which eventually led angels divide into two parties. One follows the viewpoint of Jesus, the other follows Satan. The former is just the Buddha we always know from Buddhism. The latter is the celestial described in Chinese Taoism. Buddha is Angel. In Chinese word, Buddha is Fu. Fu stands for not, Dan stands for human. So Buddha means a human who is not human. They actually have supernatural power and are able to appear in any forms. They can create life, move mountains, and turn over the sea. They can change the visible to invisible, the invisible to visible. They can survive in a vacuum and move freely in many spaces without the constraints of time. The headquarter of Buddha is what we call paradise, which is also the Elysium I mentioned in 36-dimensional spaces. Celestial is also angel. From the structure of Chinese word Shan, we can reason that they are a group of human who like to travel around, enjoy nature, and love fun. They have the same level of power and ability as what Buddha have, however. Although Buddha look peaceful, they are arrogant and always want to excel over others, while celestials are gentle, pure, fun-loving, behaving the same as what they look like. To know more about how human beings were created, please read The Origin of Humanity 4. Celestials Creating Human. Xiefeng. Translated by Tsong Long. In order to demonstrate its power, under the permission of the greatest creator, 4.5 billion years ago, Jesus led hundreds of millions celestials start the project of creating solar system. They first created the Earth, then the Sun and other planets in the solar system. They made very careful calculation and design on the size, position, rotary speed of the Sun and the Earth. After that, Jesus sent near 100 million celestials come to the Earth with the identity of intelligent beings. They started large scale of creation on the Earth. The water, air, and most green vegetation and grazing animals are the creations of those celestials. Microbes were self-created as the result of water and photosynthesis. This process, from beginning to the end, lasted for nearly 2.3 billion years. Before animals were created, there was no moon. When the first group of animals were created, celestials found that if they left Earth, animals could not survive without ebb and flow, wind, cloud, rain, and snow. Therefore, they built two big smelters at places not far from where is now Cairo, Egypt, and the Atlantis. It is now located at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, and made many airships, UFO, using the special smelted metals, and sent the animals they created to everywhere on the Earth. At the meantime, they used these airships to transport smelted metals to a space station. They then created a huge hollow ball with a rough surface, silver, and reflecting. This huge ball is the moon we refer to today. 1 billion years ago, the night on the Earth was very bright. Later, because the dust from universe continuously dropped on the moon, it was no longer as bright as before. The UFOs we occasionally saw are not from outer space, they are from the center of the moon, which is a huge warehouse. It stores many tools which had been used by celestials. UFO is also one of the tools. There is a door on the moon. It can be opened at any time. There is a giant palace under the mysterious Bermuda Triangle that is the temporary lodge for the visiting celestials. Celestials can remotely control UFOs in the warehouse of the moon to monitor the Earth according to their needs. The Earth of 200 million years ago was very beautiful and prosperous. The place where Sahara Desert currently is located had many green mountains and a dense growth of green trees. Birds were twittering, flowers were blossoming. It was once the most beautiful places for green plants and animals. Celestials used to love singing, dancing, and playing on the Earth, and they were so enjoying it and almost forgot their home. Unfortunately, the happy scene didn't last long. The happiness of celestials provoked the anger of Satan. In order to show that he had superior power, he sent another group of Buddhas to the Earth 250 million years ago and started to create flies, mosquitoes, bugs, rats, scorpions, centipedes, snakes, and predators in large scale to let these animals fight with the creations of celestials. Moreover, they even appeared in the form of dinosaur, destroyed the plants and animals all over the world out of jealousy. This inharmonious situation made the greatest creator very sad. At about 130 million years ago, he destroyed all dinosaurs by applying one kind of plague and put all their souls in the prison of the cathode black hole. Unfortunately, there were a pair of smart dinosaurs hid under the bottom of East China Sea and were able to survive. They kept dormant underwater for nearly 100 million years. In about 1,600,000 years ago, in order not to let the Earth become idle, the greatest creator designed a life structure himself, which is the draft version of current humans. He then gave the design paper to Jesus and led him to implement. The helpers of Jesus, celestials, started to make new lives according to this design. In order to receive the energy of the greatest creator sending from the universe, also to accumulate energy for creating this special new life and speed up the process, they built many laboratories in the place where now is Egypt. These laboratories are exactly the well-known pyramids of Egypt. Because of the lack of experience and some steps were missed, the first lives they made were monkeys, and then after were apes. Of course, this wouldn't please the greatest creator, so they continued testing and making. The first group of human they successfully made are the black men in Africa, and the second group are native Indians in America. The third are the white men in Europe, Egypt, and North Africa. When they finished producing 3 groups of human, they started to evacuate, and in order to avoid Satan creating difficulties again, they destroyed everything around the pyramids before they left, which is also why Sahara is a desert today. But where do most people in Middle East come from except Egyptian? They are the descendants of Adam and Eve, is what says in Bible. They were created by another God. This God knew that his rival started to create humans on earth. He created a secret Garden of Eden in about 7,000 years ago at Jerusalem and made Adam and Eve. After they were created, he destroyed the Eden to avoid the attention of his rival. This is why Cain was afraid that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. Who was he afraid of? The humans created by another God. This is why his God still protected him. Even Cain killed his brother. Whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. So today's conflicts between Israelite and Palestinian are actually the conflicts between brothers and our family affairs. And let's now talk about East Asian and Southeast Asian. They were not created by any god at all. They were the embodiments of dinosaur. At about 7,500 years ago, when the pair of dinosaur knew that celestials created human on the earth, they sneaked from the sea and changed into human form, started to propagate along the Yellow River, and the descendants gradually spread all over Asia. One of the groups went upwards, crossed the Pamirs to India. They want to mingle with the descendants of Adam and Eve to avoid the punishment of the greatest creator again. This is why Chinese people always say, China is the hometown of dragon, and Chinese are the descendants of dragon. This is also why Buddhism originated from India, but blossomed in East Asia and Southeast Asia. Why it didn't become popular in India? The ancestors of Sakyamuni went to India from Yellow River. When they arrived at India, they found that their consciousness was not compatible with that of the descendants of Adam and Eve, and had to find new home. Because in their subconsciousness, there's a very deep call, that is to go home. Which home? The Elysium, before they came to Earth. Sakyamuni found he came from Elysium after his enlightenment. Although he had a blurry picture of his home, he still remembered something. Once this subconsciousness was awakened, he decided to be engaged in the cause of preaching to other descendants, and shifted the focus to the east led by of his subconsciousness. That's also why Bodhidharma came to China to preach Buddhism. Because Indian people were designed by a different creator, they were reluctant to accept the theory of Buddhism because of the absence of the memory in their subconsciousness. That's also why, although Buddhists had made great efforts, it still failed in India. However, in East and Southeast Asia, people had the instinct sense of the existence of other dimensional spaces. It is quite easy for them to resonate with the theory of Buddhism. Once they accept it, it is rooted and lingers in their mind. The state, vague and intangible, which Taoism pursues and the Elysium world Buddhism pursues are something rooted in the subconsciousness of the yellow race. They feel and believe the existence of the space that is hard to explain. In fact, The space where the Elo race yearning for is the place where the dinosaur had lived in 10,000-year world and Elysium world. Therefore, even after 10 million years, the message is still embedded in the genetic structure of the yellow men. East and Southeast Asian tend to cultivate Buddha and Celestial. It is driven by their inner voice. Although some people accept the theory of Bible, it is not an acceptance out of their heart, but a rational act. People of other races are very easy to believe in God, but quite reluctant to accept Buddhism and Taoism. Some people might believe in Buddhism and Taoism, but it is just a blind pursuit of mysterious phenomena. They are impossible to reach the state of resonance of soul. Then, what is the truth of the Great Flood in Noah's time? First, I want to explain something. Before the Great Flood, human beings had been through extinction already. The humans created 16 million years ago were very strong and tall. They were cruel and very aggressive. They maltreated animals and were very greedy. They didn't even respect the greatest creator, not to mention gods and Buddhas. The city of Maya, ancient Egypt, and Atlantis were their activity centers. They had the power of God, Buddha, and Celestial, but were lack of their virtue. They always went to 10,000-year world and Elysium world to make troubles, and did whatever they wanted to do, which had become a big threat to the order of the universe. Finally, the greatest creator had to order some gods destroy the city of Maya, ancient Egypt, and Atlantis in one night. Only left some weak and less intelligent humans on the earth to continue the propagation of the human species. In order to comfort these men, the greatest creator created another planet which is even more beautiful, 960 light years from the earth. It is the 1,000-year world. The greatest creator told these people, if they behave well and don't make trouble, they would be able to go to 1,000-year world to enjoy happier life after death. However, these humans started to forget the warning when the population grew to large numbers and its civilization advanced. They began to ignore the greatest creator and thought he was nothing special. At about 4,700 years ago, humans on the earth thought that they were able to manage the earth themselves without the help of the greatest creator and gods. They ignored their teachings and insisted their own will. Their pursuit of physical and material comfort far exceeded the pursuit of spiritual growth, which had caused moral degeneracy and the advancement of brute. It strongly destroyed the harmonious atmosphere of the earth. Moreover, the two gods managing the earth had different ethics, thus fought with each other, which made the greatest creator so angry that he turned around the earth's dip angle. Huge storms poured down. It lasted for 40 days and nights and drowned most humans and animals. The evil act of humans were then curbed. But after the Great Flood, Noah's family were not the only men survived. There were survivors all over the world. This can be verified in many Chinese historical records. The story of Diu flood control is a hard fact. There is also detailed narration in the legends of the Indian tribe Mandan, North Dakota, America. This is the outline of the origin of human beings. 二人类的意义 The purpose of humanity. Xiefeng, translated by Tsong Long. Is the purpose of humanity only for survival? Are humans the most intellectual animals in the universe? Does the existence or the disappearance of humankind have any influence on the universe? We know from the chapter, The Greatest Creator, that there is purpose for any life beings in the universe. Nothing exists for no purpose. Solar system and everything included are to serve humanity, while humanity is to serve the greatest creator and indirectly to serve gods. The greatest creator created the universe, gods, Buddhas, and celestials. God sent celestials to create humans under the authorization of the greatest creator. Therefore, the meaning of humanity is to live for its creator, gods, and the greatest creator. The greatest creator created numerous gods assist him manage the universe to ensure it is running in order. God is the assemblage of high energy. God only has godhood, but doesn't have playful and naughty character. They can't bring joy to the greatest creator, so the greatest creator created many angels, celestials, and Buddhas. Let them travel freely in the universe to brighten up the atmosphere of the universe. Although celestials and Buddhas were created by the greatest creator, they are on a lower energy level and are dominated and influenced by the God in its respective universe. The celestials come into Earth 250 million years ago, and the Buddhas coming to Earth 200 million years ago were the result of the influence. There are three origins for the human on Earth. The black men in Africa, American Indian, Egyptian, white men in North Africa and Europe were made by one God. Israelite, Palestinian, Iranian, Afghans, Iraqi, Turk, Syrian, Jordanian, Lebanese, Saudi Arabian, and most Indian were created by another God. Chinese, Mongolian, Japanese, Korean, and the people in Southeast Asia are the descendants of dinosaur. No matter where we come from, we are equal in the sight of the greatest creator. But in the sight of gods, there is big difference. The antagonism among gods is reflected evidently on humans. We can see that from rivalries among Judaism, Christianity, Catholicism, Islam, and Buddhism. The people of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are originally from the same source, however, because the Israelite can't get along with their fellow, and instead made good friends with the people from other origins, which had caused their God to create Islam. Muhammad created Islam based on the revelation of his God in opposition to the Israelite and other people. The Israelites should stand together with Muslims, but they betrayed their God and went to join the men created by another God. In the end, they were not only not accepted but also persecuted by those men, while their brothers, Muslims, refused to accept them either. This is the root cause why the Israelite were persecuted in World War II and still fight with Palestinian till today. The ideology of Buddhism is completely different from that of Christianity and Islam. To survive, Christianity and Islam have to compete. However, Buddhism advocates not fighting. Even die without descendants to leave this world of disputes and go back home to enjoy free life. The reason why Japanese disturbed Asia in World War II, even fought with USA, is not the problem of Buddhas, but the punishment by God to Buddhas. We know that East and Southeast Asian are the offspring of dinosaur, dragon. They are the embodiments of Buddha. They used to be the followers of God Satan, but because of that great plague, they realized that no matter which god they follow, they could be faced another calamity one day. So the best choice for them is to self-cultivate and go back to the Elysium world. This thought and behavior had provoked the discontentment of their God, so he punished the descendants of dinosaur at the same time he punished the Israelite. Moreover, Taoism, a category of Buddhism pursuing only skill, not way, emerged in the process of propagation of Buddhism. Taoism is a school of religion which looks peaceful from the surface, close the door for the world outside, and form its own system. But deep inside, Taoists are very competitive. When they are at a weak position, they pretend to be humble, but when opportunity comes, they will stand out to show off their power. Japanese Shintoism also has the similar character. Human beings on Earth come from three completely different origins, and the ideological polarity was a historical issue. However, this was not what the greatest creator wanted to see. Jesus came down in form of human body with a mission given by the greatest creator. He was born in the Satan-made Israelite. When he criticized the Pharisees and religious leaders by showing his miraculous power, he also taught people to love each other and said all nations should be united. He asked people put their hope on the greatest creator and make the earth a paradise as the greatest creator wishes, the kingdom of the greatest creator. St. Paul is a very good example transformed by Jesus' teaching. Today, all people around the world gradually come to surrender to Jesus. They are in fact walking on the way guided by Jesus. Now we know that the purpose of humanity is to serve the greatest creator. We are not alone in the universe. Except human beings, there are angels, celestials, and Buddhas. And there are gods above angels, and the greatest creator above gods. Humanity have been through hardships since its birth. Today's world is not an easy gain. We need to be grateful to the greatest creator and live in accordance with the teachings of gods. Any arrogant behavior will lead to more sufferings and even the destruction of human beings. 三人类的作用 The role of humanity. Xiefeng. Translated by Tsong Long. The greatest creator loves humans because we were designed by him. Among all life beings, celestials are his most favorite, and the next is human. Therefore, we have three responsibilities. To please the greatest creator. To maintain unity of opposites of the God world. Gods are also the children of the greatest creator. There is no good or bad God. Each god has its own role to play. It is up to the greatest creator to judge their merits and demerits, to build and beautify earth. Building and beautifying Earth is the responsibility and the indispensable obligation of humanity. Maintaining ecological balance, purifying air, rivers, and land are the jobs must be shouldered by humans. We must not shirk our responsibilities just because we are taken care by the greatest creator. It is just like kids must learn to be independent and help themselves. They must no rely on the parents for everything. 四人类的过去和现在 The Past of Humanity. Xiefeng. Translated by Tsong Long. The past of humanity is a history of sufferings, a history of fights and conflicts. The past of humanity is a history of bewilderment, a history of manifestation of animal instincts. The past of humanity is a history of selfishness, a history of survival of the fittest. The past of humanity is a history of chaos, a history of giants competing for powers, religions competing for position. The past of humanity is a history of wickedness, a history that is not worthy of remembering and emulation. The current situation of human being. Although there are regional extremes, humanity in general has been away from barbarism and ignorance, and on its way to be more rational. While in some places there are still superstitious forces, but scientific developments have made the majority realize that superstition is the source of barbarism and ignorance, and the vital cause of social turbulence. There were some major superstitions. Fanatical belief in religion. They think the religion they believe is the only right one, and others are evil. However, in fact, each religion has its own blindness and a side of suppression of human nature. Fanatical belief in any religion is the result of an emotional choice, not rational. As long as religions exist, the light of human nature is not able to shine, and humanity is not able to get out of barbarism and ignorance, and war is unavoidable. The suffering of humanity will not be possible to end. Frantic worship of the great. Every country has its own great men and its own founding heroes. They made immoral achievements in elimination of old forces. They are worthy to be respected. But if they are worshipped as God and the Savior, a vicious cycle will begin to form, and humans will be dragging into another round of suffering. It is all right to worship a great man, but if it is over a limit, it becomes a mania. Mania is a mental illness, and it is also a new form of barbaric ignorance which will inevitably lead to destruction and repression of human nature. Blindly follow a theory or academic conclusion. The development of things is progressing in a form of wave. Any theory or academic conclusion is a symbol of development from the perspective of current time and space. However, they are not perfect and are not able to cover the comprehensive contents and its extended meanings. They are not the ultimate truth. If we follow them blindly, our thoughts will be bound, and therefore new thoughts and theories are not able to emerge. We will hardly see the situation of 100 of flowers blossom, 100 of schools of thought contend, which will eventually lead to the twist of human nature and stop the progress of human civilization. Nationalism. Needless to say, each nation has its unique advantages, just like different fruits and melons having their own taste and degree of sweetness. If watermelon and peach think they are the best, and all other fruits are useless, a monomode will be taking shape. This is an extremely overbearing behavior. National pride and sense of superiority is evil, not the manifestation of one's divinity at all. The stronger the feeling, the more discrimination and barriers it will cause among nations. As a result, human nature starts to fall. Nationalism is another form of superstition. Worship of masters. There are some extraordinary and distinctive people in the history of each nation. We call them master because they have a unique viewpoint, foresight, wisdom, or possess a unique quality. It is quite reasonable we respect and call them master. But if we worship them, it becomes an infectious virus, a superstition. We see the magnificence of the universe from many twinkling stars in the sky. A nation is great if talents come out in succession. Any master is like a shining star of that time. If we regard him as a sun and keep on revolving around him, the brilliancy of other stars will be covered, and the nation will not have a successor. Blind faith and following. Seek after extraordinary. A man can only be a man as long as he has a human DNA body. He can't be God or something else. We can't deny that life beings in other time and space could be reincarnated to human world. That is because they are bestowed by the greatest creator's special abilities, wisdom, and mission. which is something embodied in their DNA. These abilities and wisdom are far beyond any ordinary person can reach. As one of general public, we can only follow natural law and don't need to seek after extraordinary. If a potato wants to become a tomato, a red date wants to become a walnut, it is not only unnecessary, but also impossible. We will be on the way of devil if we are determined to possess supernatural power. For example, in the last 2 decades, the popularity of one after another gong exercise is a form of superstition and has wasted time, energy, and talents of many wise men who fall into a mud of self-anesthetizing and self-deceiving and can't get out from it, eventually lose their way. Worship of gods and ghosts, communicating with spirit world. This is a fundamental superstition. As far as human beings are concerned, there are only two gods, Jesus and Satan, and no other gods. If there are more, they are made up by men. Humans are not eligible to title someone as God and then worship him. This is a typical superstition. As for ghosts, as long as we show no interest, they will not bother. It is not necessary to ask God to drive away ghosts. Advertising ghosts in movies, books, or verbal communication is a historical retrogression and a wicked act incompatible with modern civilization. The sayings and behaviors of communicating with spirit world are destructing human nature. They are also negation of human beings. Spirit world does exist, but not for current human beings to communicate with. The man who can really communicate with spirit world must be a man with perfect human nature. Otherwise, the communication is not authentic, or it goes astray. Other superstitions. There are a variety of other numberless superstitions, which are the trash descending from human history. If I criticize them here one by one, many people would not accept it emotionally. However, these superstitions will surely be out of sight and disappear as science and human civilization develops. The past of humanity is a time ruled by religion and superstition. The present of humanity is a time of science combined with religion and superstition. The future of humanity will be a time of science and religion mixing together under the light of ration. 5. 人类目前面临的危机 V. Current crises faced by humanity. Xiefeng. Translated by Tsong Long. The crises faced by humanity has been long-standing. There had been warnings in Bible, Quran, and the Book of Earth Mother of Buddhism. In recent 20 years, many scientists, ideologists, and spiritual leaders have all sensed the crises faced by humanity are getting more and more serious. They can be summarized as follows. Water resource shortages and pollution, food shortages, rapid population growth, air pollution, widespread of strong virus, leakage of nuclear facilities, desertification, endangered species, ecological imbalance, greenhouse effect, ozone depletion, competition of nuclear weapons, etc. There are also some people have foreseen the culture crisis, ethic crisis, and belief crisis. All the above crises are only the crises on surface, and they are not the core crisis. The core crisis faced by humanity is the crisis of the soul. All the above crises result from the crisis of the soul. If we only focus on the superficial but ignore the core, it is impossible to resolve them. The crises will become even more severe, which would end up with humanity extinction and earth destruction. Only very few enlightened people can sense some other crises like race extinction and religious virus. Others like the crisis of disappearance of a city in one night, and a beam of wave causing the death of billions of people in a few minutes will definitely not be understood and conceived by ordinary people. The core crisis of humanity is the crisis of the soul. Humans can hear, listen, smell, taste, and sense spiritually because they have eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and consciousness. However, humans are losing spiritual sense. The results of failing to have spiritual sense are not able to feel the existence of the greatest creator, not able to feel the existence of the God, Buddha, or celestials, not able to feel the existence of 36-dimensional spaces, not able to feel the existence of the non-material and negative universe. Do not understand the concept of horizontal time. Too much trust on scientific findings, and atheism becomes popular. Do not believe the law of cause and effect. Do not realize the magic of consciousness. Do not believe reincarnation. Self-centered and arrogant. If a man loses the spiritual sense, he loses spirituality. And as a result, he will not be able to have a perfect human nature. His thoughts are prisoned in three-dimensional space. Does not acknowledge the regularity and certainties. Does not believe the law of cause and effect. Does not believe reincarnation. Believe the theory of evolution, law of jungle, and survival of the fittest. Only value short-term interests and ignore long-term consequences. Rotten morals and falling humanity. Lack of gratitude. A man who loses spiritual sense will be just like a black hole, only absorb stuff in but never contribute. Moreover, he is like a virus, which only does destruction to the surrounding environment. The above statements have shown that the core crisis of human being is the crisis of soul, and it is the root cause of why one cannot have a happy and free life. His thoughts are prisoned in three-dimensional space. He believes that Earth is the only habitat for human beings, and completely denies the existence of other spaces, and regards any other doctrines or theories he is not able to understand as superstitions or fallacies, and blocks the way for human beings to pursue other higher dimensional spaces. Does not acknowledge the regularity and certainties. He sees many phenomena as accidents, and doesn't realize that all natural disasters are caused by unconsciousness. Does not believe the law of cause and effect. He attaches too much weight on win and loss, uses any means to achieve the goal, and ignores the effects that will cause in later lifetimes. Does not believe reincarnation. He thinks that death is the end of life. So does anything as she pleases without conscience, and regards fame, wealth, and power as the symbols of a successful life. Apply the theory of evolution in human society. Believe law of jungle, survival of the fittest. He stops nothing to achieve his goal, which may include making miseries to other people, polluting rivers, bullying the kind, lying, and deceiving. Only value short-term interests and ignore long-term consequences. Use competition as primary means to promote social development, therefore, making nuclear and biological weapons, frantically developing heavy industries that damage environment, predatory exploitation of resources, and treating all people as potential rivals or enemies. Rotten morals and falling humanity. He does not respect God, Buddha, saints, and sages, and does not respect his teacher, father, and brother. He is violent, used to cheat, and not shameful of his behaviors. Lying, bullying the weak, abusing women, killing people. He does all evils. Just like what described in the ancient Chinese book Tractate of the Most High One on Actions and Consequences, Tai Sangan Ying Pan, the crimes of the wicked. Sometimes there is someone who behaves without righteousness and moves against rationality, who defrauds ignorant and naive people, vilifies one's schoolmates, employs lies, fraud, espionage, plots, sting operations, and entrapment against others, who slanders and criticizes one's extended and immediate family members maliciously, who is cruel, irrational, and self-willed, who oppresses those below him and claims their merit for himself, but cringes before those above him to win their favor, who has no feeling for favors received, but harbors endless resentment, who rewards those irrelevant with righteousness, but punishes the innocent, who slays people to take their wealth and overthrows people to occupy their positions, who slays captives and slaughters those who surrender, who denigrates the righteous and expels the wise, who wrongs orphans and coerces widows, who ignores the law and receives bribes, who takes the straight as crooked and the crooked as straight, who knowing his faults does not correct them, and knowing the good does not do it, who prays for people's misfortunes, wishes people to encounter disaster, destroys people's success, sullies people's innocence, pilfers people's harvests, masks people's good and kind deeds, and who generate hatred and resentment if desires are not fulfilled, etc. A moral person with spirituality knows he should revere the greatest creator and walk on the way of the greatest creators, and is aware of his weakness as a human, so he will not be arrogant. He realizes he should cultivate himself, and knows he needs to take care of, cherish, respect, and love Mother Nature, its resources, and all life beings. He will never leave the wastewater of factories, mines, hospitals, and cities to rivers, streams, and lands. He will never hunt and eat the meat of wild animals. He will never destroy forests, mountains, and grasslands. He will never indulge in power, money, beauty, and let his greed expand, not even use any means to satisfy his evil desires. He will never use his power to serve his own or his family's interests, nor bully or suppress others. He will never sell fake or shoddy goods. He will never steal other person's research findings to gain fame for himself. He will never make life-threatening nuclear weapons and biological weapons. He will never provoke conflicts among people to profit from it. He will never suppress any new ideas, new cultures, or new values. Lack of gratitude. In his heart, there is no place for the greatest creator, gods, parents, elders, the society, other people. He only demands and is not willing to give. Even a plant bears fruits as long as we water and fertilize it. A chicken produces eggs as long as we feed it. A dog will be a good safeguard of our home as long as it has been taken good care. A man who loses spiritual sense will be just like a black hole, only absorb stuff in but never contribute. Moreover, he is like a virus, which only does destruction to the surrounding environment. The above statements have shown that the core crisis of human being is the crisis of soul, and it is the root cause of why one cannot have a happy and free life. If we look Earth from a height of 1,000 meters and focus on the cities of the world, we will find the survival situation of human beings is just like a group of ants on a hot pot, running around hastily. You don't know where these ants are going to. They just follow their senses with no purposes. They move quickly all together once they spot an animal corpse or a drop of oil. They follow where the trend is. If you ask one of the ants, "Why are you so busy every day? Where do you rush for?" His answer will be, "I'm looking for something to eat, drink, and a place to live. As for where to go, I will go wherever I can find food, drinks, and a place to live." The secular world is just like an animal world. Some people stand themselves out, but where do they go after they get out? They go to religions. All religions, whether it is good or evil, they are made of people who have spiritual pursuit. A real disciple of any religion is superior, in spiritual aspect, to any kings or great men. So we can say, all people in secular world are sleeping and people in religion are awake. The formers do not have spiritual direction as the latters do. However, with the development of science and the growth of human wisdom, many people in religion start to confuse and are not able to tell the direction. Many disciples are like gamblers. They stake all their energy and wisdom on the religion they belong to. Although they know that they can't win back what they have lost, they want to keep gambling. They even want to persuade others to gamble with them to feel psychologically balanced. Just like the fox that has lost his frozen tail on the ice, he has lost the tail, he has been laughed at and left alone by other foxes. He also knows that he doesn't look good without a tail, but in order to comfort himself, he tries to persuade others that a fox without a tail is the most beautiful fox, and others are all fools if they don't cut their tails. People always have an illusion. They think truth lies where the crowds are. Otherwise, why so many people go there? People always have an illusion. They think those religions or organizations that are strong and powerful can point to a place with real happiness. Otherwise, how it can grow so big? People always have an illusion. They think wherever celebrities or intellectuals go must have a promising future, because these smart men will not go for and praise something blindly. However, when they are out, they want to get in. Once they get in, accept bewilderment, blindly following. And some shackles they put on themselves, the only thing left they can do is waiting and hoping with a fluke mind. What are they hoping for? 六人类的未来. 6. The future of humanity. Xiefeng. Translated by Tsong Long. We all look forward to an era where everyone will have a happy and worry-free life. Let's suppose the greatest creator and gods do not exist. Are we able to realize this dream only by relying on the wisdom of humanity? The answer is no. Without the guide of the greatest creator and the power of gods and Buddhas, human beings is not possible to realize this beautiful dream. How many authorities will step aside for others? How many rich men will contribute all their wealth to society? How many poor people will work hard except having more children as long as they don't need to worry about food? Let's imagine if the future of humanity is ruled by one religion. What will happen? It would be terrible. Please think of the reason yourself. If the world is ruled by one secular government, what will happen? Same. Autocracy and incompetency will soak up the blood of the underprivileged. If we keep current situation, different religions exist, countries act on their own will, everything is decided by the country itself, what will happen? The world is going to collapse. So, what will be the best living situation of humanity? The core in short is, walk on the way of the greatest creator. Build a non-interference government, promoting freedom in politics, economy, culture, thinking, and spiritual pursuit. Then, the future of humanity will be like the following. All religions will gradually disappear. Humans revere the same and the only greatest creator. Wars between nations will no longer take place. No country will have a military force. The leaders of each country are elected by its people. Election is no longer manipulated by the minority. Each leader serves no longer than 2 terms. The population will no longer be increasing unlimitedly. The growth of population will be controlled. Power and wealth are no longer the most important life goals of humans. People will not talk about how to fight with nature and men. The earth will become a place where all life beings coexist harmoniously. Terrorist activities are going to disappear. Crimes will be decreasing year by year. The care of elders and the education of the youth will become the responsibilities of the whole society, which are no longer private affairs of individuals or families. Family life is going to dissolve. Relationship of men and women is going to show diverse forms. Scientists and artists will be respected by the general. Manual labor is not regarded as a less decent job. A common bill of rights will be made. Journalists will have greater freedom. The force of darkness in some regions will be curbed. A lazy person will be regarded as miserable and incompetent. A parasite-like lifestyle will be seen as a pity. Humans will be able to make new form of life. Intelligent robots will come into being. Sahara will be returning to green again. A large number of supermen will appear. They discover the secret of brain and find the channel to communicate with the greatest creator, and therefore they know the secret of time and space, the cause and effect relationship of lives transiting in different time and space, the secret of thinking, the power of mind, and the road towards higher level life space. These supermen will bring the material and spiritual life of humanity to a brand new level. There will not be nature disasters anymore. Earthquakes, floods, diseases will all vanish. Earth becomes a blessed paradise, which will be serene and harmonious, prosperous and vibrant. Cranes are flying in the sky. People are healthy and have a long life. Everyone live in peace and enjoy their job. In conclusion, human beings will enter an unprecedented, highly developed and civilized era, an era with happiness, abundance, and freedom. Everyone will transform to a celestial at the end. We will understand all secrets by that time. Each moment of our life will be extremely joyful. We will meet our family and friends who have passed away. A brilliant new life will start to unfold. However, there is a prerequisite, which is we must walk on the way of the greatest creator. If we ignore it, everything will be developing in the opposite direction. The position of life. Xiefeng. When we understand the origin of the universe, the greatest creator, and humanity, and comprehend the value and role of time and space, we come to realize that humans are not the highest beings in the cosmos, nor are they the lowest animals. Humans are a combination of spirit and flesh, positioned between angels, celestial beings, and Buddhas, and animals. Human life serves as a transit station between lower-level and higher-level life spaces. From birth to the death of the physical body, humans continuously accumulate merits. With abundant accumulation, life evolves towards higher levels. With minimal accumulation, life remains stagnant, reincarnating on Earth in the next life. And without any accumulation, life devolves to lower levels. The value of life. Xiefeng. The brief span of our lives determines the meaning of our future existence. Everything we say, do, think, and intend shapes our destiny. Every moment, every day, meticulously records our good deeds and missteps. The path we choose, whether it leads us to higher realms like the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, or the Elysium world, depends entirely on how we live our lives. Similarly, whether we can avoid descending into lower realms like the realm of livestock, the netherworld, or the flaming purgatory also depends on our actions during our short time on earth. Our short life holds immeasurable value. Even if we were given all the treasures of the earth, if, after our physical body passes, our life doesn't ascend to higher spiritual realms but instead descends to the realm of livestock, what's the point of all that earthly wealth? Conversely, if we possess nothing on earth, yet, after our physical body passes away, our life enjoys 1,000 years of happiness in higher realms, or even attains eternal life in the Elysium world, what greater purpose could there be? Life is of immense significance, and we mustn't waste it aimlessly. By fully embracing the value of our lives, we can transform decay into wonder and overcome death to attain eternal life. The meaning of life. Xiefeng. The meaning of life lies in how to extend our life to higher-level life spaces, which is to seek the Tao and become a celestial being. Without understanding this, life will be a state of confusion, impermanence, tragedy, brevity, and suffering. With this understanding, life will be clear, enduring, a comedy, eternal, and happy. Due to the opposition between gods, human nature also contains two opposing sides, righteousness and evil. Every person, upon introspection, will find that they are a unity of gods and demons, and it depends on which aspect we develop toward. Developing toward righteousness can lead to becoming a celestial being or a Buddha. Lacking clear moral direction, we continue to be human, while developing toward evil makes us become animals. To maintain the relative stability of the universe, the greatest creator regulated everything in the universe and placed spirituality within all beings. Spirituality is the source of life, and the greatest creator is the sole source of the essence of life. The law of energy conservation and the law of the indestructibility of life are universal principles in the cosmos. According to these laws, we understand that the total number of species on Earth remains constant. Every species has a natural upper limit to its population. When it develops to a certain number that threatens the survival of other species, it will inevitably decline. If one species increases, another will decrease. When the human population reaches a certain limit, it will no longer increase. However, the problem is where the increasing human population comes from and where the decreasing populations of other animals go. The law states that everything has a spirit. In terms of spirituality, all beings are equal. The value of a wolf on Earth is no different from that of a sheep. The role of a human on Earth is no different from that of a monkey or a bee. The value of a peach tree is the same as that of a willow tree, and roses and grass are equally valuable. The difference lies in the quality of spirituality each possesses. For example, with the same type of stone, if its hardness reaches 10, it becomes a diamond. With a hardness of 9, it becomes a ruby or sapphire. With a hardness of 8.5, it becomes a cat's eye. With a hardness of 8, it becomes yellow sapphire or spinel. With a hardness of 7.5 to 8, it becomes aquamarine or zircon. With a hardness of 7.5, it becomes emerald or green sapphire. This hardness continues to decrease, resulting in tourmaline, quartz, amethyst, garnet, olivine, jadeite, wood fossil, soft jade, euclase, moonstone, sunstone, turquoise, etc., with hardness ranging from 3.5 to 5. 5. It becomes Xiaoyu jade, pearls, peacocks, corals, and so forth, all the way down to granite and common pebbles. Similarly, based on the quality of spirituality that each possesses, one can evolve from achieving Buddhahood or becoming a celestial being to becoming a human, crane, tortoise, dog, horse, ox, sheep, pig, flying bird, or walking beast, and so on. The same stone, such as aquamarine, can be divided into various grades based on its refractive index, specific gravity, color, transparency, brightness, and the pattern of its crystalline structure. The same applies to people, who can be divided into ignorant people, worldly people, mortals, sages, and saints based on their disposition, education, knowledge, wisdom, and level of civilization. Human beings are composed of a material body and a spiritual soul. After death, the physical body, which originates from energy, returns to energy. The spiritual soul, on the other hand, comes from the greatest creator, and it is eternal and indestructible, undergoing a cycle of reincarnation. This cycle is determined by a person's actions during their human life, specifically, the purity of their spiritual soul after the physical body's death. Depending on this, the spiritual soul can ascend to become a Buddha or celestial, continue as a human, or descend to become a bird or a beast. Therefore, the increase in the human population on Earth comes from other species, and some animals transform into humans. Now that we understand the position and predicament of humans, we must know that humans on Earth are under the guardianship of two opposing gods. We are faced with two completely different choices every day and every moment. One path requires us to sacrifice our immediate interests to pursue perfect humanity, with a focus on spiritual life and an increase in the quality of spirituality, ultimately leading to the thousand-year world. The other path requires us to pursue material enjoyment at all costs, maximize material wealth and social status through competition, without considering any illusory afterlife. Because righteousness and evil coexist within human nature, our lives are always filled with contradictions and suffering, regardless of how we conduct ourselves. Being kind, honest, upright, and diligent does not guarantee immediate rewards in this lifetime, just as being evil, deceitful, cunning, or lazy doesn't necessarily lead to a difficult life. Misfortunes and disasters can befall both the wicked and the righteous. Even if we continuously pray, make offerings, and refrain from wrongdoing, there is no guarantee of wealth, well-being for our descendants, or freedom from illness. It's important to understand that our every word, action, and behavior have an impact on our spiritual essence, which will influence our next life. Therefore, we shouldn't use worldly success or failure to judge our moral standards. We should not imitate someone who engages in wrongdoing but still hold high positions, enjoy wealth, and have prosperous descendants. We should also refrain from mocking someone who dedicates their days to reciting scriptures and worshiping deities, yet experience poverty and hardship. Our brief human existence is merely a transitional phase, and its significance lies in our pursuit of spiritual enlightenment and ascension. Human society can be likened to an alchemical furnace, where gold is refined into celestials, and the remaining impurities are classified accordingly. The purpose of life. Xiefeng. The purpose of humanity is to serve the greatest creator, just as the purpose of flowers and plants is to serve humanity. The purpose of human life is to transform karma. We come to the human world for a reason. In the universe, there are no phenomena or results without reasons. We come to the human world instead of other spaces because various causes and conditions inevitably lead us to become human. We come to enjoy the pleasures of the human world and to bear the pains of being human. Why do we have to endure the suffering of being human? It's because we created karma in our past lives. There are no phenomena or results in the universe without causes and conditions. The suffering and hardships we endure are to repay the debts from our past lives. The more suffering we endure, the more debts we repay. Those who oppose us, insult us, bully us, exploit us, oppress us, humiliate us, deceive us, or create unjust cases against us are helping us to transform karma. They are our benefactors. On one hand, we need to transform karma and eliminate the sins we created in past lives. On the other hand, we need to refrain from creating more karma. If we continue to create karma, we will be reborn as humans in the next life. The more karma we create, the more suffering we will experience, and we may even descend to the animal or plant realms. If we stop creating karma and attain perfect humanity, we can enter the thousand-year world in the next life. If we not only stop creating karma but also accumulate merits by serving society and others, we can enter the 10,000-year world. If we neither create karma nor cease in our virtuous deeds, and we also proclaim the glory of the greatest creator, we can enter the eternal realm, the Elysium world. This is the purpose of human life. 人群分类. Classification of people. Xiefeng. On the surface, there doesn't appear to be much difference between one person and another. We all have the same organs, senses, and bodily functions. We all eat, drink, excrete, and engage in activities like walking, sitting, and lying down. However, Once we engage with someone, ask them to perform a task, or have a conversation, we quickly realize that people are vastly different from one another. Most individuals tend to believe that they are not much different from others, with distinctions primarily revolving around differences in wealth and social status. In reality, the variations among people are primarily rooted in their spirituality and wisdom. To help us understand what kind of individuals we are and to provide a sense of direction for personal growth and goals in life, I classify people into 5 categories: ignorant people, worldly people, mortals, sages, and saints. By considering these categories, you can assess where you currently stand in your life journey. Ignorant people. Basic characteristics. They lead instinct-driven lives, often with disordered lifestyles and no clear life goals. Their values are in chaos, and they struggle to prioritize and distinguish between what's essential and what's not. They spend more time engaging in mindless actions than using their intellect. Instincts overpower emotions and rationality. They lack proper self-assessment and an understanding of life's meaning. Their lives are often marked by confusion, frustration, and erratic emotions. They are arrogant, blindly optimistic, and feeling superior when successful, pounding one's chest, feeling pessimistic and disappointed, and blaming the heavens and others when facing setbacks. They are quick to anger, easily irritable, often unreasonable, and susceptible to manipulation by others. They admire heroes, prefer excitement and dramatic events, and are willing to make great sacrifices for their friends. They have no secrets, are straightforward, and lack a sense of responsibility toward family, society, and others. They are selfless and without faith. Worldly people. Basic characteristics. People who live by desire, with the central focus of life being money, fame, status, and beauty. They enjoy flaunting, boasting, and showcasing themselves. They like to praise others and be praised by others. Every word and action revolve tightly around their own interests. When their interests are threatened or harmed, they disown even their closest relatives, be it siblings, friends, companions, colleagues, or superiors and subordinates. They disregard national and ethnic interests, group and family interests, and principles of benevolence, righteousness, courtesy, wisdom, and trust, as well as laws, rules, and regulations. To achieve their goals, they resort to any means, and they repay kindness with enmity. They have a narrow perspective, seeking only personal gain. They heed rumors and readily exaggerate them. They spread gossip without distinguishing between truth and falsehood. They meddle in conflicts, regardless of the consequences. When it comes to acquiring knowledge, they are particularly obsessed with fringe theories, strange tales, conspiracy theories, and privacy breaches. They enjoy hopping from one thing to another, seeking attention. They excel at empty talk and making far-fetched references. Worldly people enjoy engaging in superficiality and also delight in nitpicking, interfering with, and critiquing other people's lives and lifestyles. They are not concerned with reason and fairness, show no mercy when they are right, excel at finding loopholes and seizing advantages, and lack compassion and empathy. They pay little attention to public hygiene, are selfish, and constantly feel that society and others owe them. In places with many disputes, you find worldly people. In families lacking harmony, you find worldly people. Mortals. Basic characteristics. They are people who live based on emotions, and the central focus of their lives is family, relatives, friends, colleagues, classmates, groups, ancestors, countries, and nationalities. Their minimum life standards include having enough food and drink, having healthy and successful children, enjoying a harmonious and happy family, and living in a peaceful and tranquil society. Their intermediate standards include being able to bring glory to their ancestors, to become renowned, hope for their sons to excel, wish for their daughters to succeed, having wealth within their family and a bustling life outside, and having the capacity to seek revenge or settle scores. Their highest standard: to contribute significantly to one's own ethnicity, religion, group, political party, or country to leave a legacy and be remembered for generations to come. Emotion and reason are the primary factors considered by mortals in handling all matters. They are the most tormented group among the population, as they possess thoughts, emotions, rationality, and ambitions, yet find themselves entangled in the mundane world. They must constantly interact with the ignorant and worldly people, battle against the biases of society, contend with their inner desires, and resist traditional ethical and moral norms. Their inner world is often filled with conflicts and regrets. They yearn for personal growth, but also seek to conform to societal expectations. They require so much yet receive so little. They often lament the scarcity of time and the brevity of life, feeling as though they are adrift in the river of the world, unable to control their own destiny. As they age, they increasingly rely on fate. Mortals do have beliefs, but these beliefs are conforming, blind, helpless, and arbitrary, rather than based on an understanding of truth. Therefore, the faith of mortals is fragile and cannot withstand scrutiny. It changes with the times and the living environment. The reason why they are called mortals lies in their lack of steadfast faith. They cannot and will not derive strength and wisdom from their beliefs. Generations after generations, they can only exist and perish in the painful whirlwind of the mortal world. Mortals tend to regret the past, overlook the present, and yearn for the future. They will never be content, and the suffering of mortals will never end. Sages. Basic characteristics. They are transcendent individuals who lead their lives with reason. They possess clear minds, knowing when to advance, when to retreat, what to seek, and what to forego. Their life goals are to pursue health, wealth, and freedom. They have their own principles and adhere to societal codes of conduct. They can freely manage their time, maintain harmonious and happy families, live in harmony with society and nature, and are mostly liberated from the trappings of fame, status, and wealth. They control their own destinies, move with ease, have extensive knowledge, communicate with civility, display noble conduct, are understanding and reasonable, optimistic, and kind-hearted. They are the pillars of civilized society. Sages are gems among people, possessing significant intrinsic value. Regrettably, while they escape worldly affairs, they cannot escape the limitations of time and space. In the end, they cannot enter the higher realms of life. Sages are just one step away from truth. If they can self-enlighten or receive guidance from higher beings, they can do their best to complete their duty, achieving tranquility, purifying their hearts, and through cultivation, they can attain complete transcendence, become free from worldly concerns, worries, be free from cares, and transcend beyond the ordinary, and ultimately surpass time and space to enter the realm of immortality. Saints, celestials. Basic characteristics. Wise individuals who lead a spiritual life and have attained enlightenment. They have knowledge of the mysteries of the universe, the truth of life, the evolutionary laws of the 36-dimensional spaces, and the essence and meaning of life. They have not only freed themselves from the temptations of wealth, fame, status, and beauty, but also from the constraints of time and space. They live carefree lives, transcending worldly concerns. Saints have mastered the mysteries of thinking, having understood the mechanics of energy transformation. They can essentially manifest their thoughts into reality, turning life into an enjoyable game, and death has become a beautiful aspiration. Saints do not overly concern themselves with the sufferings of the mortal world. They never interact with worldly people and avoid interacting with mortals. They typically reside in secluded areas near picturesque mountains and rivers, disguising themselves as ordinary citizens, leading a tranquil life detached from worldly strife. They enjoy solitude and value friendships with like-minded individuals. They are not fond of noise and are characterized by activities such as drinking tea, playing chess, reading, and practicing meditation. Sometimes, they may spend an entire day playing with ants or engage in singing competitions with birds. Whether the birds' songs are more melodious or their own hoarse singing sounds better, it doesn't matter to them. As long as it's fun, they enjoy it endlessly. Attaining the realm of a saint undoubtedly leads to the 1,000-year world. Above is the classification of people, and by now, I'm sure most of you have an idea of which category you might fall into. If you find yourself as an ignorant person, you might not be able to pinpoint your position, and after reading this classification, you might feel very frustrated, even wishing to throw a few punches at me. If you identify as a worldly person, you may hold some jealousy in your heart because I've exposed your mindset and peeled back your facade. For those of you who see yourselves as mortals, reading this might evoke a sense of sadness. When you witness that some people in the world seem higher and happier than you, an unexplainable jealousy and envy may arise within you, especially when it comes to wealthy individuals. You might have thought that once you become rich, others would envy, respect, and follow you. However, you never imagined that in the eyes of sages, you're still an ordinary person, and in the eyes of saints, you're just an ignorant one. On the other hand, if you identify as a sage, you'll likely be overjoyed, feeling as if you found a long-admired bosom friend and suddenly realize that your wealth is boundless and that you can benefit infinitely from it. If you consider yourself a saint, you might laugh heartily and criticize me for being idle and wasting time. Regardless of whether you feel anger, jealousy, happiness, or laughter, as long as you take a moment to calm your mind, you'll find a sense of gratitude deep within you. After all, you've come to understand your own state of existence and where you should strive to develop. If you aspire to attain pure spirituality and progress towards the level of a saint, I have categorized human qualities into 18 grades for your reference. 导致人生痛苦的18因素. The 18 source causes of life's pain. Xiefeng, June 30th, 2010. Translated by Tong Xin and edited by Care. Life should be joyful, happy, free, and blessed, but most people's lives not only lack joy, happiness, freedom, and blessings, but also have many troubles each day and night which stimulate pain in their hearts. We have to ask, what in hell causes the pain in life? Let me analyze the sources of pain in life and see if they are reasonable. Wrong values on value, life, and the universe. The values of value, life, and the universe are the GPS of life. If they are correct, the life journey will gravitate toward joy, happiness, freedom, and blessings like heaven. But once they become misdirected, life will slip toward troubles, anxieties, worries, and fears like hell. For example, people die for money and birds die for food is a wrong value. If one insists on such a value, pain will fill their life. For example, every man should take a wife and every woman should take a husband once they reach adulthood. If such a value directs your life will doubtless be full of pain. For example, people just live a lifetime and then die like the light of candles going out is a wrong perception of life, since it ignores the laws of karma, cause and effect, and of reincarnation. If one accepts such values, their life will definitely be messy and as confused as flies without guidance, and they will encounter a lot of pain. For example, there is no greatest creator, no gods or Buddhas, no celestial beings, and no heaven and hell is also a wrong value of the universe. Such identification does not understand that there are mountains beyond mountains and heavens beyond heavens, and does not understand that there are 20 parallel worlds and 36-dimensional spaces. It limits one's view of spirit and soul to the narrow life field of current space so they cannot see a bright and clear future, and causes much pain in life. Selfishness. People who prefer to selfishly take benefits and profits only for themselves rather than serving or contributing to others and to society will definitely live painful lives. Greed. Only take one cup of water among thousands of rivers and lakes. If one wants to possess all rivers and lakes without restraint, their life will surely be painful. Laziness. Being lazy, preferring leisure over work, being opportunistic, and stealing other people's achievements are qualities which will inevitably lead to corruption and poorness. The result of such people is having painful lives unless they can become pigs. Jealousy. When seeing other people leading lives with better conditions, or living happier, freer, and more joyful lives, one immediately has jealousy and hatred in their heart, or feels uncomfortable without reason, or cannot sit or stand peacefully, or cannot help but be mean and picky, and even wants to harm those other people. This will cause limitless pain in their own life. Complaints. When one has no clear identification of themselves, cannot see clearly their own shortcomings and disadvantages, always puts the reasons of mistakes or responsibilities on others, complains a lot, including complaints to heaven, earth, society, and other people, but never finds reasons from within, such people's lives will inevitably have pain. Comparison. The consciousness of comparison is evil. Once one starts to compare themselves against others, pain comes immediately. Being competitive and aggressive. Being competitive and aggressive, always wanting to have a better life than others, always liking to show themselves off, and always wanting to be superior to others, such people will have much pain during their whole lives. Arrogance. Those who are arrogant, wild, and proud, unable to treat people equally while always feeling superior to them, disrespectful of other people's personalities, dignity, and freedom, always speaking in a tone of teaching and superiority, revealing contempt in their eyes, and have no basic politeness, are annoying people and they will have a lot of pain. Being dependent. Not trusting in and relying on the greatest creator. Not trusting in and relying on oneself. Putting the hope of having a happy life without the troubles of food, shelter, clothes, transportation, birth, aging, sickness, and death on someone else, always wanting to rely on and be fed by others, and placing their spiritual prop on someone else. Such people will have lots of pain in life, too. Infatuated and poisoned love. Marital love, faithful love, pledge of eternal love, and voluntarily suffering love are all poisonous love. Once one owns poisonous love, their life is inevitably painful. Possession and occupation. Once one owns something, they will definitely taste pain. The more one owns, the more pain will come. In order to possess something, one must spend their time, energy, and heart to own it successfully. In order to maintain all they have, they need to think thoroughly to find the solution. In order to occupy for as long a time as they can, they have to cheat, fight, intrigue against others, and even join life and death struggles. How can such a life not be painful? Chase for fame and profits. Life is only one journey of life in the human world. If one struggles fiercely and competes seriously in such a short time, which is like the illusion of a flower blossom, and chases for fame and profits all the time, his life will be surely full of pain. Attachment. Whether it is money, rights and privileges, fame, positions, or people, as long as one attachments to things, one cannot have an independent consciousness and his own opinion. He will speak and act according to other people's opinions or wills and become a suffering slaver or puppet. Want to change or control others. All life beings have their own natures. Rivers and mountains can be changed, but it is hard to alter a person's nature. If one tries to change or control others by his own interests, habits, characters, and wills, tries to have others live according to his own will, it will surely bring unhappiness to both sides and cause many pains in life. Depart from the way of nature. Departing from the original intention of the greatest creator, suppressing one's nature and love, and trying to resist nature to attain supernatural power, trying to attain special abilities, and living life without following the way of nature is just like hurling eggs against stones. Such life will definitely be painful. Violating laws and disciplines. Countries can disappear, but government cannot. In order to maintain the efficient and harmonious operation of society, governments must require their citizens to obey conventions, that is the Constitution, laws, rules, and disciplines. If people do not obey the conventions, but often violate laws and disciplines, and even commit crimes, it will surely cause painful lives. The consciousnesses of marriage, family, nation, political parties, religions, and organizations. Once people have the above consciousnesses, once they enter into the programs of marriage, family, nation, political parties, religions, and organizations, their lives will definitely suffer. 好人、善人、坏人、恶人的标准. The standards of good, kind, people and bad, evil people. Xiefeng. March 17, 2011. Translated by Tong Xin and edited by Kair. The standards of good, kind people. All those who bring joy, happiness, freedom, and blessings to others are good, kind people. All those who lead others to the way of the greatest creator are good, kind people. All those who help others to get through difficulties are good, kind people. All those who promote others into good and harmonious relationships are good, kind people. All those who love and cherish nature and life are good, kind people. All those who promote human beings toward the directions of peace, union, and prosperity are good, kind people. All those who can live independently but do not bring troubles or pain to others are good, kind people. All those who lead others to a wonderful future are good, kind people. The standards of bad, evil people. All those who bring to others troubles, pain, fear, and anxieties are bad, evil people. All those who lead others to the way of the devil are bad, evil people. All those who lead others into difficulties are bad, evil people. All those who destroy nature and hurt life beings are bad, evil people. All those who block others' good futures are bad, evil people. All those who impose their own wills upon others are bad, evil people. All those who make and spread rumors are bad, evil people. All those who urge others to enter into marriage, traditional families, or any organizations are bad, evil people. 看看自己是不是正走在魔鬼的道上. Check if you are following the road of devils. Xiefeng. Have you ever experienced afflictions, vexation, anxiety, sadness, and fear? Have you been cheated, bullied, blackmailed, oppressed, and humiliated by others? Have you felt frustrated and desperate at life and life? Do you know why all this should happen? Let me tell you, all this is the work of the devil's program. All this happens because many people are walking on the road of devils. The program of the devil tempts people with money, wealth, fame, position, power, beautiful women, and ease and comfort to intermarriage and family, nation and state, political party and religion, businesses, cultivation groups, and various organizations. As a result, these people are kept busy rushing about for all these matters. They would rack their brains and take great risks to achieve these purposes. For these purposes, they would shout their support, cause harm to others, and do damage to other life forms and the nature. People are walking on the road of devils when they struggle for their own interest, for their family's interest, for their nation's interest, for their country's interest, for their political party's interest, for their religion's interest, for their company's interest, and for their organization's interest, and when they each try to cheat the other by sheer cunning and falsehood and grab at each other's throat. Why should things fare like this? Why does not the greatest creator stop us? The principle goes like this. Unity of opposites is a law of the universe. Superior and inferior, up and down, bright and dark, leader and the masses, hell and heaven, higher order of life and lower order of life, man and ghost, man and other animals and plants, carnivores and herbivores. Otherwise, life cannot go on, and the great drama of the universe cannot be staged. It is just like the case of a man for whom eating and drinking form opposites with defecations. The opposites can be united and complement each other. In addition, there is a principle of the universe, namely the sum of positive energy and negative energy is zero. Therefore, everything must be symmetrical, and there must be balance between yin and yang, and loss and gain. What one gets in and what one pays out should be orderly, and the power of angel should hold the power of devil in check. To be more specific, in order to survive, man should have animals and plants to provide for his existence. The life at the lower order must serve the life at higher order. Then who will be the man, and who will be the animals and plants? Some people will go to heaven, but who will go to hell to maintain a balance? There are leaders, but there must also be the masses. Thus, the devil's program is necessary. Without it, the universe will lose its balance. The survival of life cannot be guaranteed, and the whole universe will be listless and pale. Actually, the devil Satan is a deity, an archangel and chief angel, who is toiling to maintain the zero sum of positive energy and negative energy. Burdened with notoriety and bad name, he is serving the life of the whole universe. He must deliver many life forms to the lower order of life and lead many life forms to hell. Thus, when a person is walking on the road of devil, he is making his way to the lower order of life and the hell. The devil will not show any appreciation for this, but will say instead, "What an ignorant fool you are." Now let's see whether you have taken the road of the devil. If you have one of the following 18 items, then be careful, you are walking on the road of the devil. You are in marriage and family, rushing about for your own family. You are striving and struggling for your own country, nation, religion, political party, organization, or group. You are concentrating yourself on making money and worrying and rushing about to amass your wealth. You are racking your brain and sparing no effort to win a good fame or secure a high position for yourself. You are stealing, contending, or robbing, mugging, or killing, pilfering, cheating, corrupting, bribing, or accepting bribes, or requiting kindness with enmity. You are doing something in the secret which you are afraid of being discovered. You are bullying, oppressing, blackmailing, exploiting, maltreating, humiliating, or trampling on others. You break your word and do not keep your promise, always trying to find an excuse or reason to exculpate yourself from your fault or crime. You are eating things you are not supposed to eat, using things you have no right to use, and doing things you are not entitled to do. You are affronting or desecrating the greatest creator, or affronting or desecrating God and Buddha, or affronting or desecrating sages and saints, or affronting or desecrating ancestors, or affronting or desecrating president of the country, or affronting or desecrating your own parents, or affronting or desecrating others. You are threatening, abducting, or controlling others and restricting their freedom in the name of love or other excuses. You are propagating and publicizing incorrect outlooks on life, value, life, and the world. You are inciting or abetting others to plot a rebellion. You are spreading gossips and rumors to ruin the close and harmonious relations between others. You are jealous of others' joy and happiness, and you feel resentment at others' freedom and blessing. You are always envying, or complaining, or reprimanding, or hating, or detesting, or attacking, or hurting others. You are always making comparison with others, or prompting others to make comparisons. You are polluting the rivers, the land, and the air with chemical materials, waste water, and waste gases, or polluting others' spirit and soul with negative, passive, and pessimistic mood. If you have any one of the above 18 items, then you are walking on the road of devil. You should wake up and realize your mistakes and rein in at the brink of precipice before it is too late to repent. Where should I go after turning back from the cliff? Answer: walk on the road to heaven and follow the way of the greatest creator. 满足人生需要的道路. The ways which meet life's needs. Xiefeng. October 23rd, 2014. Translated by Transin and edited by Care. The American psychologist Abraham Maslow believed that human has 6 major needs: physiological, safety, love and belonging, self-esteem, self-actualization, and self-transcendence. To be specific, life needs food, water, air, sex, sleep, safety, resources, health, medical care, assurance of having a job, family affection, friendship, love, self-esteem, social status, confidence, a sense of achievement, morality, skills, creativity, and so on. Meanwhile, Maslow also argued that human needs are hierarchical and that they will be fulfilled at each level, from bottom up. That is to say, fulfilling the physiological needs comes first, then the safety needs, and so on, and the self-transcendence efforts can only be made after self-actualization. For me, Xiefeng, my life needs are as follows: a room with a bed, a desk and a chair, 3 suits of clothes and 2 pairs of shoes, 2 meals with plain tea and simple food each day, being surrounded by like-minded people who share the same resonance of consciousness, being busy every day, having a clean, orderly, and beautiful environment, sharing everything with everyone, doing everything willingly but nothing compulsorily, peace, harmony, warmth, health, realizing my dreams and ideals, understanding life and time and space, and knowing the destination ahead and the realm that life can reach. How does one realize this ideal of needs? Maslow listed them from the bottom up, but I do from the top down. I have found that in Tao, virtue, benevolence, righteousness, courtesy, wisdom, credibility, achievements, sorcery, and magical art. Only when there is Tao, everything else can be met. If we start from the bottom level and first pursue magical art, then one can never reach the realm of Tao because life is too short, and when we have fulfilled all our needs at the lower levels, we would have neither the time nor the energy to pursue Tao. Thus, we have to first clarify life's road ahead and the realm to which life wants to take us. Once this key issue is resolved, the others will readily be. I used to be obsessed with making money. I built my own company, and at one time I had 4 stores, a nightclub, a bar, a fast food restaurant, and also leased a dancing hall, a restaurant, and a barber shop. My annual net income reached hundreds of thousands UNRMB. Later, I miraculously survived a car accident and began to understand things differently. I found that people had unexpected good or bad fortune and that life is vulnerable. If you do not first understand life's value, purpose, and meaning, and the principles and mysteries of life, then no matter how you live, your life will be blind and you can never fulfill your life's needs. I then gave up my businesses and immersed myself into studying the meanings of life, and from there, I developed the theories of first fulfilling the top-level needs and to gradually fulfill the needs of the lower levels in a natural order. Today, I have fulfilled all the levels and have achieved my life's needs, though this would be extremely difficult for even a president or a billionaire to do. Now, what else do I need? I only need one thing, and to have fun. I do whatever is fun. The desire to enjoy the finest food, clothing, accommodation and travel, birth, senility, illness and death, fame and wealth, and leaving a lasting reputation are out of my mentality. Everyone who has communicated with me has benefited from me, so I think that becoming a guide to life and life is not only appropriate, but is also assumed. 无忧人生三大法宝 3 magic weapons for a carefree life. Xiefeng. February 18th, 2013. Translated by Shidai and edited by Care. When we are born on Earth, it is inevitable that we will develop many worries. Some of these worries will be for food, clothing, shelter, transportation, birth, aging, illness, and death. The worry about how to make our lives run smoothly and have wonderful futures. The worry about how to keep relatives and friends successful and safe. And the worry about how to fully enjoy love and sexual intimacy. Because of these worries, some of us will begin to walk on the way of the greatest creator in life, Echanuan. Although many of us might have little confidence in their futures and endure fear in their hearts. Therefore, I will show you 3 magic weapons to help you achieve a carefree life. These weapons will strengthen your faith and overcome your difficulties, help you cross your mountains and swamps, in order to arrive successfully in heaven. The first magic weapon is having firm faith in the greatest creator. For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that men are without excuse. Romans 1 verse 20. We are created by the greatest creator, but how do we know this? I will present you with 3 examples. Every woman has breasts, but they do not provide milk until she gives birth. What does this example show? It shows that the greatest creator has designed this program, and he is looking after the newborn babies. Look at the hairs of our eyebrows, eyelashes, and armpits. Most of our hair can grow to unlimited lengths, but not those of our eyebrows, eyelashes, and armpits. Why? Why are our eyebrows arched and the eyelashes grown on the upper and lower edges of the eyelids? Why are the armpit hairs very soft? When figuring these questions out, we will know that the greatest creator has taken good care of us. Upon reaching the age of puberty, we will develop special feelings of attachment with members of the opposite sex, and when kissing and fondling, women's vaginas will become moist and prepare for lovemaking. If their vaginas remain dry, they would not be able to enjoy the pleasure of sexual love. This program is very complex, so what can we learn from it? We shall learn that sexual love is a precious gift bestowed by the greatest creator to human beings, and it fills our lives with infinite fascination and beauty. It is only when we become good at reading and understanding the book without words of nature that we will learn how well the greatest creator has taken care of human beings in every way and form. So we will know that we have been created by the greatest creator, and that the greatest creator is surely looking after us. It is only by living in accordance with what the greatest creator has designed for us that we will have no worries about our futures and definitely have a carefree life. The second magic weapon is believing in karma. Reap what you have sown. Those who do good are rewarded, and those who do wrong are punished. Good and evil will have their karmic retribution when their time comes. And when the time arrives, one will get all the rewards they deserve. Disasters and blessings have no entry gates of their own. they are summoned by people. The effects of good and evil are like shadows following their forms. Therefore, a joyous man speaks what is good, thinks what is good, and does what is good. Each day he does these three things, and in 3 years, heaven will bequeath to him good fortune. But an unlucky man is he who speaks what is evil, thinks what is evil, and does what is evil. Each day he does these three things, and in 3 years, heaven will strike him with misfortune. The cause and effect are perfectly matching. The mill of the greatest creator grinds slow but sure. If you want to know your past, look into your present conditions. If you want to know your future, look into your present actions. We need to believe in karma. When we believe in karma, we will no longer complain to heaven, earth, individuals, or society, and accept all the twists and turns in our lives quietly and peacefully. What is more is that when we understand the law of causality, we will have no worries that we will surely have beautiful pictures of life in the future as we pursue sincerity, kindness, beauty, love, faith, and honesty. We will have no worries that everything will treat us nicely when we treat them nicely and do no harm to nature, any living beings, any person, or to society. The third magic weapon is putting our best into everything that we do. Submit to the will of heaven, do what one can, just put out our best efforts into whatever we do on each day. Treat relatives, friends, society, and nature with love from our hearts, and do our best in daily life. By doing so, we will have no regrets in our lives. As to whether our dreams come true or not, do not feel attached to the results, but let the greatest creator arrange all. Using a saw pulled by a rope in time, any block of wood, no matter how thick, can be sawed through, just as drops of water will wear away a stone. In the same way, those who cultivate Tao must constantly exert themselves in their explorations. Water flows naturally into channels, and the gourd, when it ripens, sheds its stalk naturally. Thus, the person who wishes to master Tao has only to persevere in self-cultivation, and they will eventually become accomplished. We will have no worries only if we do our best in everything. Having firm faith in the greatest creator, believing in karma, and giving our best in all that we do are three magic weapons to bring you a carefree life. If you have the three magic weapons, your life will be like, let the wind blow and the waves beat, better far than idly strolling in the courtyard. You will no longer have worries about food, clothing, shelter, transportation, birth, aging, illness, or death. You will have a very bright future and a carefree life. If you can keep this state in your lifetime, you will arrive in heaven when leaving the earth.
向全球征集新时代人类生活理念。
Collecting new era life values from global citizens. Xiefeng, May 20th, 2014. Translated by Teng Xin, Song Long, and edited by Kair. In order to inherit the wisdom of the past saints and sages comprehensively and to absorb the precious thoughts of today's saints and sages, and to realize the dreams of the talented will be put to good use, and the whole world will be one family, no one would pocket anything found on the ground, and doors are not bolted at night, and everyone is joyful, happy, free, and blessed. Human beings can develop sustainably. The 800 Values for New Era Human Beings will begin its third revision. Every citizen on Earth can take part in this activity regardless of which religion, political party, country, nation, or ethnic background he or she belongs. Anyone interested, please selflessly devote your wisdom to the betterment of the entire human race, because as long as your thoughts are beneficial to the interests of all humanity, we will accept and compile them into the third version of the 800 Values for New Era Human Beings. Please note that we are calling for values, not views or beliefs. We are calling for life values, not market values, country values, religious values, values for political parties, etc. Values are the crystallization of wisdom and thoughts, but thoughts and wisdom are not values. The values we need are life principles to follow. Therefore, please condense your wisdom and thoughts into values which can be expressed concisely and succinctly, but with rich content, and use one sentence instead of two sentences if it is already clear enough. Please do not explain your values or present your reasoning with long texts. Please contribute your wisdom and values regarding these 8 aspects. How to achieve a harmonious coexistence among people, society, and nature. How to let everyone on earth have dignified, joyful, happy, free, and blessed lives. What values, modes, and phenomena in people's lives are ignorant and backward, and with what new ones should they be replaced? What kind of lives should we lead in order to resonate with the laws of nature and of human nature? What kind of belief system, moral system, and value system should we build? What is the meaning of civilization, and what kind of civilized principles and etiquette should we follow? The universe is infinite and creation is limitless. So toward what direction should we walk, and what kind of life level or condition should we pursue? What right values should human beings follow in all aspects of the fields of their production and lives? We will bring people into the highly civilized Life-Changuan era, and this will be a common objective for all human beings. We hope everyone on Earth will participate in it actively, and we look forward to the contributions of foresight and understanding and incisive values by the sages of this time. What we need is positive, optimistic, and very creative energy. Therefore, we will turn a deaf ear to all that is negative and pessimistic. For those values which are directive or educative, or sound like advice or guidance, unless you have done it yourself and have reached that standard, please do not bother us because we have no time to listen to moralizing. But if your values are correct, we will follow them immediately. The second home of Life-Changuan is a big international family, and this family leads a life completely according to the 800 values for new era human beings. As the life and production modes in the second home become more and more perfect, it will achieve a lever at which it will be able to change the fate of humans and will lead the world into a higher, more civilized level. Please be aware that many groups of people in the world are totally selfless and have dedicated their lives to the happiness of all people. These are the pioneers who are moving forward and are striving for the best. Please spread this article as widely as you can.
活人需要明白的八大道理。
8 Truths by Which to Lead a Life. Xiefeng. Edited by Kair. Living in this world, we need to understand why we do and how we should, or we will live an unclear and muddled life. For every road on the trip ahead, there must be a destination, and different ways of living will ultimately afford us different views and lead us to different destinations. As a messenger of the greatest creator, the incarnation of gods, Buddha, celestial beings, saints, and the guide for human spirits and souls, I propose the following 8 truths by which to live. Please examine and consider them, and choose whether they make sense and whether they can benefit you. Rivers have sources and trees have roots. People have parents and celestial beings have ancestors. Everything has its origin and all effects have their causes. Rivers will run dry without sources, trees will wither without roots, people will scatter without parents, and celestial beings will fall without ancestors. Therefore, in living a life, we have to connect our souls to their source to be clear and to gain eternity. The source of everything is the greatest creator, and we, our lives within our life, should always keep the greatest creator in mind and live in accordance with the will of the greatest creator. In this way, our life can reach a wonderful destination in the end. Life is a short journey of life in the mortal world which begins when we are born and ends when we die. You were there before you were born and will still be there after you die. Birth and death are only life phenomena, and not the beginning and end of life. So it is very important to learn from where you came and to where you are going. The mortal world is a transition between different levels and different types of life. Passengers traveling in all directions will transit through this mortal world and stay for periods of time, whether they will ultimately ascend or descend. Therefore, the mortal world is populated with all levels and all types of life. Gods, Buddha, celestial beings, saints, goblins, devils, ghosts, monsters, and demons all exist in the mortal world, and as such, anyone's life trip can be misdirected by only slight miscalculations. We must therefore sharpen our eyes and be weary of the negative influences in life. Everything in this world exists within the unity of opposites, and the result of it is always neutral. That is, the amount of positive and negative energy in the universe is always equal. What you have paid and what you have gained are always equal. This means that what one gets and what they give within a lifetime are equal. If you gain more, you must pay more. And if you pay more, you will gain more. If someone pays a lot in their life stage but gains little, then their extra payout will await them in the bank of heaven. Tao. But if one gains more than they pay in this life stage, then they will owe a debt which must be and can be paid off in many different ways, such as becoming a cow or a horse in the next life, or becoming a chicken or pig and being slaughtered and eaten, or working for others, or even falling into the lowest space of life and having to withstand great stress, pain, and hardship. Therefore, we should try our best to pay more and gain less in this stage of life, because no one can enjoy more than enough blessing, and they must know when to stop. We can become enlightened from nature. That is, each life needs to live to its fullest and live itself out. Only thusly can this world be colorful and wondrous. Therefore, everyone has to live out their own innate nature by living for their own well-being first. It is only when people live well that they can be beneficial to their loved ones and others. If they do not live for their own well-being, then they will bring endless pain and trouble to everyone and become burdens and loads. For instance, some parents live bitter lives and often cannot meet their basic life necessities such as birth, illness, retirement, and death, so they can never bring blessings to their children. We often hear parents say, "My child, I have suffered through a bitter life all for my child." This attitude is an excuse for their bad life because they want to transfer their pain to their children and make those children suffer guilty consciences for their parents' deprivation. Consequently, not only does the parent deprive themselves, but then they guilt-trip their child. This kind of outlook on life is incisively manifested by married couples when the husband and wife each believe that they have sacrificed for the other and that the other owes them. As a result, both suffer and neither lives out their Tathagata nature. In short, one has to live for their own sake and their own well-being, because anyone who lives for others will not only spoil their own life, but will also inflict heavy psychological burdens and spiritual bondage upon others. What is there for people to live for? It is to live for their innate natures, for their gifted natures, to live happy, joyful, free, and blessed lives, and to leave no regrets, remorse, resentment, or sorry at the end. To do this, one cannot live for power, wealth, fame, beauty, vanity, religion, political party, state, nationality, family, or others. They must not try to possess or control anything or anyone, but must accept them as they are and associate with others by following predestined relationships, to act in accordance with their natures, and to take advantage of opportunities as they arise. They must deliver their lives into the hands of the greatest creator through the arrangements of Tao. Everything physical is a game, but only the soul is true and worthy. Do not be too serious or persistent on anything. Go for it if it pleases and uplifts, but forget it if it hurts or degrades. People will die and fields will become lakes, and that which we are so serious and persistent about, or which troubles us now, will eventually vanish from our consciousnesses. Why bother? Everything in life runs in Tao. Everything is karma. The Lord is everywhere. You reap what you sow. Divine punishments, though slow, are always true with big meshes, letting nothing slip through. Therefore, we must lead honorable and upright lives which are centered on sincerity, kindness, beauty, love, faith, and honesty. No one should be stealthy or talk about spirits, deities, fortunes, or disasters. A good conscience knows no fear. Whatever one thinks, speaks, and does should be faithful to the earth, the sky, others, and society, and to their own consciences. In this way, their life journey will become smoother and more comfortable as time goes on. Their life's future will also be smoother and more beautiful. Just do ordinary, simple things within the capacity of your lifetime. Be content to be ordinary and do not pursue the extraordinary. Settle on doing more small things and avoid attempting big things. Learn how to enjoy the unknowingly quiet life and avoid being the target of the known and the noisy. 1,000 miles can be covered by constant small steps, and rivers and seas are filled where small streams gather. We should always direct our efforts toward laying this kind of foundation. In this way, with persistence over time, the most ideal life will appear, and the most beautiful dreams will come true. These 8 life truths are only my perceptions and are only fit for a small minority. Accordingly, the majority of people are unable to accept them. If you think they make sense, then use them as references. If you think they do not make sense, then find your own ways. We do not discuss, debate, or argue.
用哲学辩证法指导人生。
Life Guide with Philosophical Dialectics. Xiefeng. Translated by Transin and edited by Care. Philosophy is the abstract theory about the nature of the universe and its developmental law, as well as the relationship between thinking and being. Dialectics is the theory of the unity of opposites, the contradictory movements of things, and the universal connections and characteristics of them. In terms of properties, dialectics is part of and resides within the category of philosophy. It is like consciousness and thinking. Thinking is part of and resides within the category of consciousness. Speaking metaphorically, philosophy is the human body and dialectics are its eyes. Philosophy deals with the broad sense, while dialectics deals with the narrow sense. Philosophy is general while dialectics is specific. It is my opinion that philosophy is science and should be understood and reasoned with real evidence, without which it would not be logical, and that would in turn lead to wrong conclusions. For instance, both the absolute idealism and absolute materialism sever the unity between the two sides of the contradiction, such as religion, which emphasizes more about the idealism and ignores the value and meaning of real existence, and pragmatism, which stresses more about existence itself, but less about its causes. The theory system of Life-Genuine is mainly based on real evidence, although I have previously expounded more about the teachings and instructions of gods, Buddha, celestial beings, and saints in human history as the core, which is somewhat empty for the faithless, and not only lack operability, but also lack the cognition of the scientific nature of the spatial-temporal universe, life, and life. It is like Lao Tzu's descriptions of Tao, an image of what existed before God. The Tao that can be discussed is not absolute Tao, evasive, elusive, yet latent within it are forms. Dark and dim, yet latent within it is the life force, too specious to be understood by anyone who is not extremely wise. How do we guide our lives with philosophical dialectics? Buddha has no settled rules. Buddha's rules always vary according to the situation. Keep the main and change the others according to the situation. To be selfless is to achieve self. To be free from ego is to achieve ego. To own nothing is to own everything. And so on, which I summed up conforms to dialectics in the philosophical sense and can guide life. Now we will talk in detail about how to understand the world and how to guide our lives with philosophical dialectics. First, let us see the universal law of the unity of opposites in a philosophical sense. This law is to say that all things in the universe consist of pro and con factors which are opposite, incompatible, and contradictory as fire and water. But paradoxically, it is precisely this organic unity of contradictions that makes the world complex and colorful. Specifically, positive balance is negative, light balance is dark, true balance is false, good balance is evil, yin balance is yang, male balance is female, up balance is down, the rise balance is the fall, death balance is life, the tangible balance is the intangible, and so on. How can this analysis be significant to guide our lives? The law of the unity of opposites tells us that there is the physical world, but also the spiritual, heaven, but also hell, material structure, but also the non-material, and the tangible human, but also the intangible God. As such, our consciousness and thinking are not limited to our mortal lives, and will not be limited to the material world that we see. Our field of knowledge can expand to unlimited space and time, to the afterlife, to the non-material world which we can neither see nor hear from our current place. What a remarkable leap of faith this is! Thus, as human beings, we should not only value the present, but also consider the future, not only pay attention to reality, but also consider nothingness, not only cherish life, but also pay attention to the afterlife. Let us now look at the law of mutual change of quality and quantity in a dialectic sense. This law says that any change of quality must be based on an accumulation of quantity. When the accumulation of a quantity becomes saturated and passes a critical point, its quality or qualities will change. This law has a measurable value and significance in guiding our lives. From the law of the unity of opposites, we understand that while there are humans, there must be gods. Since there are gods, the existence of celestial beings and Buddha become reasonable. Humans, gods, Buddha, and celestial beings are life of different natures. People have human nature, gods have divine nature, celestial beings have theirs, and Buddha has Buddhist nature. If human nature is to be sublime to divine nature, There must be an accumulation of quantity, and the accumulation must develop towards the divine nature. 1,000 miles cannot be covered without an accumulation of steps, and there will be no rivers or seas without the integration of small streams. If one gradually accumulates a divine nature, then in accordance with the law of mutual change of quality and quantity, they will eventually become godlike. Based on the dialectic law of the negation of negation, we can conclude that new things must conquer old things. New things refers to those which are in line with objective law and posse's strong vitality and broad developmental prospects. Old things are those that run counter to objective law and will die out. To determine whether a thing is new or old is to look at its nature, not its form or appearance. For example, many new religions have sprung up like mushrooms with new forms and manifestations, but their natures are variations fermented in old nests, and they are not new at all. Now let us look at the new methods, new measures, and new channels, with the aim of earning money across the globe, such as the transformation from traditional manufacturing industries to service and infotech industries, which appear new when seen from their form and appearance, but are still, essentially, ways to make money. Thus, they are not new because the nature of their profit motive has remained the same. As in the Yangtze River, the waves behind ride on the ones before. New generations excel the old. This is a reflection and portrayal of the law of the negation of negation. From the phenomenon of the global rise of the divorce rate and the growing number of singles, we can surmise a law such that the family as a traditional production and life mode will be gradually replaced with a new form of production and life mode. This is an objective law which will not change by people's subjective wills and will not stop advancing just because people resent it or rebel against it. This new mode is replacing the traditional production and life mode, is a new thing, and no force can prevent its development and growth once it happens. However, the growth and development of new things is bound to suffer and will have to overcome arduous and tortuous processes. When you invest yourself into the development of new things, you must be psychologically and spiritually prepared to suffer difficult times, or the new things will eliminate you. The prospects of old things are dark, but the prospects of new things are bright. So the farther you walk on the way of old things, the narrower it becomes, but the farther you walk on the way of new things, the wider it becomes. It rises here but sets there. It increases here but decreases there. Two extremes are connected but will go in different directions when pushed too far. The rise is sudden, but so is the fall. Ill gain brings ill fate. Karma is the shadow following a body. Extreme joy begets sorrow. Out of the extreme misfortune comes fortune. All these conform to dialectics, so we have to remain alert and have confidence all the while. After we understand the universal law that positive and negative energies always balance out, we can deal with life affairs skillfully and easily. We know that when we constantly give and contribute rather than take and consume, we will accumulate many treasures, but where? They are reserved in the afterlife or the non-material world. Who will enjoy these treasures? No one can, other than the one who has accumulated them. Otherwise, the universal law that positive and negative energy always balance out would be violated. As it is a universal law, it is a necessary procedure. When you pay, you must receive. When you receive, you must pay. If you have given but have not received in the mortal world, then you will undoubtedly receive in your next life or in heaven. Otherwise, the universe would be unfair and untrue. Everything has its destiny. The total energy in the universe is constant. This is consistent with the law of the conservation of energy and of matter. In terms of philosophy, yin cannot exist without yang, and yang cannot grow without yin. Yin and yang are the law and order of the changes of all things, Huangdi Neijing. As we know from the water on the earth, regardless of the surging rivers brought on by rainstorms or the increase of snow cover on mountaintop, its total volume remains constant. It is destiny. This is to say that the quantity of life in the universe is constant. It increases here but decreases there. It rises here but falls there. Well then, where does the increase in human population come from? Are new lives born out of thin air? People who have explored and studied anything about reincarnation know that human reincarnation happens several days before birth. Therefore, an embryo or fetus does not contain life. It can only be called life when a reincarnated soul enters into it. Thus, we know that a new life will only be born when an old one passes on. There is no life without death and no death without life. That is it. In this case, we know that the increased life on the earth must have come from somewhere. If a new life is born, then an old one must have ended. If we analyze carefully, we may wonder about the many animals on the earth that have died. Where have they gone? Have they become human? Where will their lives go if the earth has a mass extinction in the future? Please refer to 36-dimensional space for the answers. Philosophical dialectics can guide our lives. We have just discussed how to guide our lives by philosophy from the perspective of philosophy. This enlightenment is only the tip of the iceberg. You may draw general conclusions about other cases from specific ones. I hope that each one of you will lead a smart life and that you will have wonderful life prospects. 人生是一场幻象. Life is but an illusion. Xiefeng. Translated by Treasure and edited by Care. Illusions are phenomena that appear in dreams, fantasies, and phantasms. With further inferences, all phenomena that arise quickly, remain briefly, and then disappear equally quickly can also be thought of as illusions. Mirages are illusions, as are dreams, soap bubble patterns, and even thoughts at the end of the day or when we are bored will form them. It can be inferred that flashes and pans are illusions, a large number of cells, microbes, and fungi are illusions. Many photos online are illusions, computer games are illusions, and movies and TV shows are illusions, too. Dreams are illusions because the dream world lasts for a short time. If one dreams for 100 years continuously, would that be an illusion or reality? Of course, it would still be a dream because the moment that the person wakes up, the dream would disappear. So how could the dream not be an illusion? It can be concluded that no matter how long a phenomenon exists, as long as it disappears completely at some point, it too must be an illusion. Thus, it is possible to conclude that life is an illusion because even someone who lives for 100 years will eventually disappear altogether. So why would that be different? Having dreamed throughout the night, we wake up in the morning, and no matter how much we twisted and turned during our dreams, we no longer care about anything that happened in them because after all, they were fantasies, dreams, and illusions. A dream will not affect our mood or state of mind too much. Here is the question. Since we have deduced that life is an illusion, is it necessary to be sad for our twists and turns in life? Is it necessary to be anxious about things in our life? Is it necessary to struggle hard for things and hunger to reach goals? Is it necessary to make others behave according to our own wills? When the illusion of life disappears, will it not float away as a dream? When the earth we live on disappears completely in the infinite universe and all of humanity disappears as an illusion, what about a single person? To analyze and judge this question, I want to wake you from your dream to let you not be a human being, but rather a celestial being. When you wake up, will you still go into your dream to be nostalgic for something or to fight for someone in your dreams? Of course not, because it was an illusion, a fantasy. Well, life is also an illusion and a fantasy. So shall we be racked by people and things in this illusion? Of course not. Who remembers their grandparents' grandparents? Not to mention the fact that the memories of our grandparents' grandparents are already blurred even in the incomplete memories of our grandparents. Who will remember us 100 years after we die? We take for granted that we have importance in the present, but that is a complete illusion. Many great historical figures have died. They thought that they were important back then, but what about now? The earth goes on turning and humans go on reproducing. The footsteps of civilization never stop marching forward. So it is unnecessary to be too sad when people around us die because death is a normal phenomenon and everyone will die, including ourselves. So never be overly anxious, fearful, or sorry because it is all an illusion. Nobody can control your dream. Who can even control their own life? It is delusional to think that if you do something, you will get something. That is impossible. You cannot secure yourself against all risks and dangers. How can people control your life? You cannot wear shoes when you are supposed to be barefoot, and you cannot stay on the mountain when you are supposed to leave. Cold shoulders cannot be expected when you are thriving and on the way up. That every cloud has its silver lining may be forgotten in despair and adversity. Therefore, never force yourself to learn, suppress yourself to work, or force yourself to do what you dislike and which is against your own better judgment. No matter how successful you are, outstanding, or a billionaire, or how glorious your family reputation has been flowing down through many generations, when you wake up, all will have been a dream. Affection and love tactics are the most difficult traps for people to escape. They are the most terrible traps in life. Ask the mortal world what love is. It drives one mad to death. Now think about it. Life is but an illusion. After waking up, everything will be nothing. So is it necessary to be bogged down on affection and love? It might actually be better to live as a beau, a dandy. What people fear most is losing what they own and are most attached to their property, their power and status, their reputation, and of course their most beloved lover. However, they are not at all necessary. What really belongs to you and cannot escape is yours, but if it is not yours, you cannot keep it. Any way one looks at life, it is still an illusion which can be shattered and vanish in a moment. So why make yourself suffer for it? Why not enjoy a natural and unrestrained dream? Has anyone in history been so intelligent and so powerful that they could control everything? Not one. Everyone is acting in a play. They are playing roles, following scripts. If anyone could control all things with their wisdom and power, their fortunes would be as boundless as the East China Sea, and they would live a very happy, healthy, and eternal life, forever. Have there been any? Not one. This proves that man is only a grain of sand in a sandstorm, a drop of water in the sea, and that nothing can really be controlled by anyone. So why not just follow predestined relationships and take things as they come? Life will be easier and more natural. People expend a lot of time and effort on their health and appearance, yet regardless of their daily exercise and nutritious eating habits, the sick are still sick and the short-lived still come to untimely ends. No matter how much paint and powder one applies to their face or how much plastic surgery they undergo, wrinkles still creep onto the forehead and cheeks as time passes, and signs of aging become more and more visible every day. These changes cannot be resisted. So why try to fight them when you know that you cannot? Life is too short. Fiddle with this today, fiddle with that tomorrow, and remain confused. You will still get old, fade away, and die. It is a bad deal to live in fantasies, but an even worse one is to indulge them. Do you worry? What do you worry about? You were worried when you were dreaming. What about when you woke up? My point is that there is no need to worry about anything because all of life is ultimately only a dream. There are no real scenarios because life will end. Will all the worry not be gone with the wind? Enjoy the present. Do not worry about tomorrow or the next day. Everyone's life has been predetermined by their destiny, their script. Worry is useless, so why persist with this fantasy, waste your recreation time, and ruin your relaxed mood? Your state of mind is different when you are asleep than when you are awake. Sleeping people lead befuddled lives in their dream worlds of obsession, worry, anxiety, sorrow, and fear. However, fully awake people know that all is but an illusion, so they have neither strong bliss nor intense grief, but are just pleasant, relaxed, and calm. Who are these people? Celestial beings, of course. Within the universe, everything is an illusion except for the greatest creator. People live in illusions because all lives are illusions. In this sense, illusions are reality. Illusions are stages of life. People live one dream after another and live a large number of dreams throughout their lives because lives consist of dreams. Although people live in illusions today, this is really the entirety of human life. Never expect to lead a real life without it being an illusion. Even the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, and the celestial islands continent of the Elysium world are all illusions. The differences are that those illusions are more beautiful and splendid and go on much longer. It is very clear that everything is an illusion, but most people are too stubborn, obstinate, and perverse to see them as such and are convinced that they are living in reality. When one awakens from their dreams, their soap bubbles will burst and they will say goodbye to their dream, but they will do it unwillingly and with disappointment and frustration. Knowing that life is an illusion, how does one lead a wonderful life? Whatever it is that makes you happy, joyful, free, and blessed, just do it. Follow your best judgment, have fun, then play. If something bothers you but you need to do it, make a perfunctory effort. No fun. See you later. Better yet, never see you again.
第二家园走不复古文明道路。
The second home does not take the road of reverting to ancient civilizations. Xiefeng. People have created splendid cultures and invented innumerable production tools and living products. Inventions, innovations, and scientific developments have relieved us from backward and primitive production and living modes. Except for those gifts bestowed by nature, all that we enjoy today comes from those advancements. If civilization abandoned science and technology, then it would not be an advancement, but a regression. The way of the greatest creator is the way of nature. Scientific inventions and technological advancements have not gone against nature, but some have been used in irrational ways. Achievements of technological inventions and progress have gone against the ways of nature in many aspects, but the fault is not theirs. Rather, it is from people's misuse out of selfishness and greed. Cutting vegetables is a natural use for a knife, but using it to cut woods or to kill people is a misuse. The problem lies not with the knife, but rather with the person who misuses it. It would be extremely illogical to blame the knife, rather than to look into the false consciousness of the person who behaves irrationally. Would it be better to use toilet paper or clods of soil to wipe one's buttock? Of course, toilet paper is better, at least more hygienic. If a toilet paper manufacturer cuts a large amount of woods and then spills wastewater into rivers, it would not be the fault of the toilet paper, but that of the manufacturer who has ignored the result of wrong behavior by only pursuing economic profit. Some people are under the mistaken belief that the production and life mode of the second home will lead to a reversion to primitive conditions, but returning to nature does not include doing such things as eating raw animal flesh and drinking its blood, or wearing the skins and furs of animals. Rather, it means that we should live according to the will of the greatest creator, and by the principle that people need to coexist with nature harmoniously. At least we can say that people should not advance at the price of natural destruction, but according to the fundamental principle of sustainability. What we have created is a brand new civilization which will not only inherit all the positive achievements of scientific and technological development, but will also advance humanity into a more developed stage of civilization. It would not be possible for us to revert to ancient practices because although we would absorb wisdom from ancient cultures, we would not be limited by them. We would learn from their essence, but would not revert to them. Our thoughts should neither be confined to ancient ones, nor make us repeat the mistakes of our ancestors. Following in their footsteps, we need to initiate a new future and a new way of living which will avoid the recurring tracks of previous civilizations which have been destroyed completely. Religions should not stop progress, politics should not be short-sighted, economies should not destroy nature, and societies should not be reluctant to advance forward. The biggest crisis facing humanity is that of the soul. All others pale in comparison. When this crisis is eliminated, all others will disappear automatically. Do not define the second home by using concepts of old production and life modes, and do not assume that the second home will be the same as any other living mode in human history. We are walking on a new road which aligns completely with the will of the greatest creator rather than human will. It will bring happy, joyous, blessed, and free lives to people, and even allow them to evolve into celestials. I am the spiritual guide of humanity. I will lead people to an unprecedented, amazing future and even take some to heaven. This is not a boast. As long as you follow me, you will experience it step by step. 生命绿洲模式将解决人类面临的21个难题. The mode of the new oasis for life will solve 21 difficulties that mankind is facing. Xiefeng, June 27, 2020. Translated by Treasure and edited by Care. Whether we call it Utopia, New Eden Garden, Kingdom of the Greatest Creator, or Xiefeng-style communism, Life Genuine's new mode of production and life in the new oasis for life will solve these 21 problems that have been handed to us over thousands of years of human history. It will free women from their daily trivial chores forever. The elderly will lead their happiest lives in old age, whether they have children and receive pensions or not. The phenomenon of orphans will disappear forever. All children will lead lives full of love and care and will be well educated. The phenomena of people remaining unattached and lonely will disappear forever. Domestic violence will disappear completely. The conflicts among religions and belief systems will end forever. Political parties will have no purpose, so competitions among them will disappear. All people will be able to travel throughout the world freely and without restrictions. Military expenditures will be reduced to zero because there will be no militaries. Border and land disputes between states will no longer exist. Regional and ethnic conflicts will no longer exist and peace will abound everywhere. Drug abuse and gambling will disappear completely. Official corruption will disappear completely, as officials will have neither need nor ways to corrupt. No wealth disparities will exist, as everyone will have everything yet own nothing. Courts, lawyers, and legal systems will die out gradually as they will no longer be needed. Criminal activities will be reduced by 3/4 and security will be greatly enhanced. The population will stabilize without sharp increase and decrease and will be in balance with planetary resources. Atmospheric pollution as well as that in all water and on the earth will disappear. Extinction of species will end and many lost ones will return. Climatic disasters will no longer occur and distinct seasons with consistent climate will become normal. At least half of the people will sublimate into angels, bodhisattvas, celestial beings, and Buddhas. Do not take this as a joke or myth or consider it an armchair strategy. It has been the firm evidence of Life-Chanuan's theories and the model of the new oasis for life which have been existing and developing for 10 years. It is the ideal that mankind can fully realize. Whether you wish or not, and believe it or not, mankind has been bound to and is entering into the Life-Chanuan era. Everything is running according to procedure.
明明巧安排平凡度人生
Life arranged ingeniously, the ordinary life. Xiefeng. March 27, 2019. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Care. Times change, lives reincarnate with their ups and downs, and human reproduction flourishes. Time and tides annihilate emperors, generals, and ministers. Green grass invades countless palaces and pavilions. The strong disappear in an instant with their great achievements. Heroes who had once shed blood and tears are nowhere to be found. Huge amounts of wealth perish quickly like dreams, even the rich starve to death in the wilderness. In front of desolate and dilapidated empty buildings was once bumper-to-bumper traffic. The winners were frustrated. The powerful were desolate. Fires were extinguished into ashes regardless of how fierce they might have been. Overwhelming storms returned to calmness. In life, it does not matter whether you win or lose. In the world, it does not matter whether you are right or wrong, gaining or losing. Everything is destined. Everything is a constant. We suffer from our own actions. We harvest what we sow. We are responsible for our wins and losses. The greatest creator never has special mercy for anyone and never intentionally abandons anyone. Those who exploited others will be exploited. Those who hurt others will be hurt exactly the same, not more and not less. Evil rages in the guise of justice but will be contained eventually. Self-interest is cheating and bluffing in the name of public good, but it will eventually be recalled. Advantages taken will surely be lost, and every extra gain will become a loss. Tao is never absent. Angels never leave. The devil never slackens. Prosperity ends in a big mess. Prosperous ages end in ruins. Lavish banquets end. That which flourishes dies. Phenomena will not last, but essence never changes. There are tens of thousands of ways to die. If one does not know how they will die or where they will be in 100 years, then what is the use of being busy? Why are you in a hurry? Clouds are rolling and unfolding. Flowers are blooming and falling. Rushing passers-by cannot hold anything. Lonely ghosts cannot find places in which to settle down. What are you fighting for? What annoys you? It is all a waste of energy, a waste of the meaning of life. Useless usage has great use. Power, status, reputation, money, real estate, and houses are all passing clouds, and the winner of them must be captured by the devil. The states of realm, virtue, quality, etiquette, gratitude, contentment, and courtesy are all the claims of life, so one will be blessed by heaven if one possesses them. The sum of all positive and negative energy of the universe is zero. If you gain something here, you will lose something there. Looking at heaven, looking at hell, looking at the world, everything is clear. Joy is sorrow, gain is loss, suffering is happiness, frugality is abundance. You might be eager to get what you want, but when your desire is met, misfortune will follow. You might be eager to achieve success, but when you succeed, you will suffer from it. Virtuous individuals, please listen to me. Avoid the urban noise and return to the rural countryside. Life is like a chess game, and each one is different. We cannot see it through. We cannot explore it all. Why not raise a few chickens and ducks or go to watch the full moon in a field? Pickles and steamed buns warm the stomach and ragged clothes are like honey to the heart. The chaos of the world is not without its source. Do not go back and forth hurriedly and quarreling. It is hard to tell who is right and who is wrong when all are jollifications of knacks. A big fire will burn everything down. A flood will wash everything away. The pandemic came quietly, and man-made misfortunes are everywhere. Living today, we do not know tomorrow's situation. Something superfluous might cost your life, so why rush yourself and worry? The world is like an unsatisfactory tight dragnet, but everything is arranged ingeniously. Every detail is clear. Not a word or act is wrong. Do not hate anyone. Do not complain about things happening in the world. Results are what matter. Find the benevolence of the divine across 3 lifetimes. Evil things in the world are made by good people, and supremely good deeds are made by evil people. Good intentions always create trouble, and slander waits beside honor and favor. Misery. Happiness is to be found by its side. Happiness. Misery lurks beneath it. Disaster is a blessing in disguise. It is better to cultivate in the countryside, to be an ordinary person, not to be famous, not to fight for profit, but to light the sacred lamp in your heart and watch the world change. Relying on other people, one will exhaust themselves on them. So why not rely on the Tao of the greatest creator? Everyone has a life trajectory that cannot be changed, so why bother to worry about others? Parents' suffering cannot be replaced by their children's, and the children's sins cannot be negated by their parents, let alone by others. You might think that you are doing something for the good of others, but how do you know that you are not working against Tao and disturbing their trajectories? You cannot give money to others without having money in your pockets. How can you guide others to live well if you do not live well? Depend on your own experiences and feelings, and do not listen to others' moral preachings. No harm in life is greater than that which affection can do when it is deep and hurts very severely. Sentient beings are trapped in affection nets until they die in mazes of affection. If you cast your affection onto someone, then their burden will become yours. So why not direct your affection toward idyllic, green mountains and blue rivers? Attaching affection to flowers, birds, insects, and fish is more beneficial than doing so to people. How can you wash your feet while still standing in mud? How can you sever your worldly ties while still living in the world? Waves never end. Repaying debts by borrowing will keep you in debt forever. We also need to repay our debts that we borrowed from nature. The only way to eradicate debt is by giving alms formlessly. Our minds should not abide in form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or dharma, but should abide nowhere. This mind abiding nowhere is our true mind, which is nature, Buddha, angels, and celestials. Looking throughout the world, the best place for life is the new oasis for life.
审视一下自己是不是赌徒。
Check if you are a gambler. Xiefeng, May 22nd, 2020. Translated by Qin Yu and edited by Care. Do you gamble? Check this out. What is a gambler? It is anyone who wants to win rich rewards by betting their money, youth, future, and life on uncertain things which they self-identify as certainty. Gamblers lose everything that they begin with, including the clothes on their backs. Eventually, are there any who earn good lives by gambling? Casino dealers can do very well, but they are not really gambling because the games are all stacked in their favor, but most people who participate in gambling will lose and will end up with crushing losses. The truth is simple and clear, but people still want to gamble. All are gambling. I studied carefully and discovered the surprising phenomenon that almost everyone gambles, with marriage being the biggest gamble in life. You cannot be sure of its outcome. You can never fully understand the other person's personality, outlook, temperament, character, interests, and other factors, but you are betting your whole youth and your entire life on them. You expect to be happy, joyous, harmonious, and blessed, and expect to remain in love with each other for your lifetime. But then what happens? It is not necessary to analyze the results. The eventual result of all gambling is that the gamblers all lose. Since marriage is a big gamble, the result is of course tragic. Participating in religion and becoming a believer is also gambling. You base your destiny and future by betting on the religious rituals, ideas, practices, and beliefs that you firmly believe are correct. But is your religion the absolute truth? Almost every religion claims that theirs is the only correct belief, but this is only its own wishful thinking. Can it withstand the challenges of facts, science, logic, and spiritual perception? Regarding the three major religions, Christianity, Islam, and Buddhism, they are each contradictory in terms of life and death, so which one is right? After death, are there reincarnations, or merely lying quietly and waiting unconsciously for a final judgment and possible resurrection? If you are not sure, then are you not gambling? Christianity practices monogamy, Islam allows men to have 4 wives, and Buddhists do not marry at all to become monks and nuns. Which one is consistent with the truth of the universe? It is said that there are more than 1,000 political parties in the world. No matter which one you choose to join to become a member of, you will still be doing the equivalent of gambling in a casino. Political parties are contenders for power and interest. As long as you compete and race for them, there will be winners and losers. Anything that has winners and losers is a gamble. Therefore, partisans are also gamblers. Do you have children? If your main purpose of giving birth to children is to bring glory to your ancestors and to protect and support yourself in your old age, then you are gambling. Because whether your children can bring glory to your ancestors or protect and support you in your old age is unknown and produces a questionable future. Is not putting your hard work, sweat, and hope on uncertain outcomes gambling? Are you not a gambler? Do you spend time, energy, and money on interpersonal relationships? If so, you are gambling. Whether it is for benefit and safety or for affection and entertainment, as long as you establish special relationships with others, you are gambling. You cannot guarantee whether the special relationships you have forged will be blessings or curses, or whether you are putting yourself at risk or bringing in noble allies. Do you trade stocks, engage in venture investments, support a company financially? If any of these are yes, then you are gambling because you do not know what any of the outcomes will be. You are just taking risks and thinking wishfully about getting generous returns. You can never be sure whether the results will be counterproductive. How different are these endeavors from going into casinos with the intention of winning big money? Whether it is a battlefield, officialdom, a workplace, business, love, a family, a teaching field, or a relationship, its nature is the same as that of casinos. Once you enter any field, you are gambling. You are a gambler. As long as you invest your time, energy, physical strength, mental energy, and even your future on something that cannot be determined for its developmental direction and future results, then you are gambling and you are a gambler. Wake up now and ask yourself, what on earth are you here for? Are you here for a huge gamble? If you think gambling is fun and exciting, then play as much as you like. Anyway, everything is empty in the end, so why not enjoy it? However, if you know that emptiness is not empty, then you had better think deeply about life.
生命禅院关于安乐死的观点和态度。
Life Chanuan's viewpoint on euthanasia. Xiefeng. August 26, 2019.